Anthony Mackie as Captain America.
He did the damn thing.
He did?
Yeah.
I saw a lot of noise, and you can see noise, you know.
Okay.
I saw it online about this movie. The same type of noise there was about the Super Bowl halftime show last week.
Okay.
Where it was like pockets of people that look a certain way.
Right.
Had a certain feeling about it. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. So I noticed patterns, you know.
Right.
It's like, oh, of course you didn't like the halftime show.
They are there if you see them.
Absolutely. They're like, you know, they need to bring rock and roll back. I was like, dude, who the fuck plays rock and roll anymore? Like, name 5 rock and roll bands. What, Imagine Dragons? Come on, knock it off.
What's that? Is that a movie?
Exactly. No. Fisk with this Vanessa shit. Bro, enough's enough already. Like, dude, you met her at a fucking art gallery. You knew her for like 2 weeks, and every damn thing it's just as long as Vanessa's okay.
Right.
Well, he got in the way of Vanessa. Dude. It's not like they were like married for like 10 years, bro. You just met the chick like a couple weeks ago, bro.
You know, sometimes, dude, when you find them, you know.
How fucking great did Red Hulk look?
This was the perfect Hulk design for me that I've seen. He's lean, but he's massive. Everything about this is how the Hulk should be done.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got this shit show called The Leader.
Right. They might as well go into the dollar store and got a rubber mask.
It was horrible.
And put on top of his head. And then it was bad.
All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What's up?
What's up, bro?
It's cold out today, man.
Dude, it is. Down in the 20s.
It feels colder, though, because a few weeks ago, it was like 3 degrees.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel this cold.
True.
So, I don't know what's going on.
Must be that incoming snow, Adrian.
Is it snow, or is it a dusting, or is it 8 feet? Is it 2 inches?
We're supposed to get a decent amount, dude.
Yeah.
Supposed to snow from like 5 o'clock tonight till like 5 tomorrow morning, so we'll see.
Yes. Yeah, we'll see.
But that's why you'll have this episode here to keep you warm, right?
That's it.
So, dude, you're all capped out today.
And you're all white out, dude.
I am, yeah.
It's like, that's a nice fetching white Only Comics hat. I like that. Man.
Yes, it is definitely fetching, yes. Now, are you dressed this way because of the movie?
No.
Okay.
It was on top of the pile.
Got it. It's just the luck of the draw today.
Just real simple. Keep it simple.
Well, we are going to get into some Captain America Brave New World.
Yes, we are.
And the best part, we have not even discussed this with each other yet at all.
Correct.
I don't even know if you liked it at all. At all. You don't know if I liked it.
That's right.
I will tell you this. There was a lot of I saw a lot of noise, Adrian, online. You can see noise, you know.
Okay.
I saw it online about this movie, and it kind of reminded me of like the same type of noise there was about the Super Bowl halftime show last week.
Okay.
Where it was like pockets of people that look a certain way.
Right.
Had a certain feeling about it. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. So I noticed patterns, you know.
Right.
It's like, oh, of course you didn't like the halftime show.
They are there if you see them.
Absolutely. They're like, you know, they need to bring rock and roll back. I was like, dude, who the fuck plays rock and roll anymore? Like, name 5 rock and roll bands. What, Imagine Dragons? Come on, knock it off.
What's that? Is that a movie?
Exactly. No, it's a band.
Really?
Yes, alternative, something like that. Like pop rock. But like, you know, you just notice patterns, and I've seen kind of the same thing, you know, with this movie. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
All right.
So, but as far as the news goes, Captain America: Brave New World's in the news, Adrian. It took in over $40 million on Friday alone, which makes it the second biggest opening for a Captain America movie, right behind Civil War, which I say is the best Captain America movie, Civil War. So it is on track for a 4-day opening of about $90 million, which means this. It means that people are not done with Marvel. You know, you see a lot, I'm so done, they've miss after miss and blah, blah, blah. I do think getting back to some of these big name characters, like, yes, I know it's a different Captain America, but it's Captain America.
Right.
It's not Eternals. It's not Ant-Man. It's not stuff that, you know, who's asking for this.
Right.
This is one of their big name franchises.
Right.
You know? So I think, and we did talk, you know, it was probably 6-7 months ago now, there was a rumor about Marvel where they I guess decided that was their plan. Let's get back to the big name and stop these kind of one-offs, you know, the Moon Knights and the Agathas of the world. Like, let's go with what works.
Right.
You know? Are you surprised by this? Second biggest opening for a Captain America movie?
Never actually even thought about it.
Okay.
So I'm not surprised or disappointed.
Yeah. But are you surprised that this movie is doing well?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of buildup from the original Cap, and I think if people, even though they might not like it or like the idea of it.
Right.
Like I don't like the Captain Falcon mashup.
Sure.
I think people are like me. They go out and see it just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of that.
Absolutely. And I would say they did a great job marketing this thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was all over the place.
Yep. It was everywhere. I will say I don't. One critique that's out there that I do agree with, but it's also not. It's not even really a big critique. I can't say like, oh, this is why the movie's not good. Was I wish they would have kept the Red Hulk reveal for the movie.
Okay.
I wish we didn't see that in the trailer. I would have loved to have been, but that's a small thing.
Well, the fact that you've seen it and you can't take it back,
right?
So you really don't know how you would have felt about it. And well, I mean, you could have said
I would have liked the surprise,
right. I mean, you could say that you like the surprise, but the fact that you have seen it now, you don't know what your emotions would have been if you would have saw it.
Exactly.
Later on, so.
But so to your point, it's not a big deal.
No,
like
exactly.
I've actually seen that as like some people's critique, like, well, they spoiled in the trailer. Okay, that doesn't impact the quality of the movie. You could say, yeah, I would have rather been surprised by that, but then you can't use that as a critique for the movie, in my opinion.
And you can. I mean, just like that fucking crypto wild-haired terrier dog, which is not the real crypto.
Correct.
You could say, well, oh my God, they showed crypto, and they should have kept that for the movies. Who cares? Dude?
Exactly.
It's a part of the movie.
Yep.
They chose what they thought would bring the most people out to their venue.
Exactly.
That's what they did.
Exactly. So, but yeah, dude, I'm not shocked by this. Again, I don't want to get into my thoughts on it yet. I was not disappointed by it. I'll say that. So I'm glad it's doing well. Something that is going to drop really soon, Adrian, Daredevil Born Again. So I'm actually on the 3rd season right now. So I've seen the first season twice now. I never watched the second or the third. I just got through the second, halfway through the third, and I would say, dude, this show is amazing. Yeah. From start, I haven't watched a bad episode yet. We talk about some of these shows where there's like a filler episode and stuff, and you've already seen when they originally came out, the Daredevil. But dude, this show, it's like it is one of the top comic book shows. Period.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and start. I actually started my rewatch. Okay, I got up to stick in the first season. Yeah. So I just haven't had time to get back to it.
Got it. This is a lot of episodes, dude. 13.
Yeah, it is.
And they're long episodes. Yep. But they're quality though.
Yeah. That's a lot of time to take out of your life. Knowing that you've already seen them before, too. So
with me it's a little different. I've not seen them. So now I'm on the 3rd season where, Fisk is living in like that penthouse where it's a jail, but he's owning it. Like Fisk is just, dude, he's a savage, bro.
Right. He's a prison mob boss.
Yep,
basically.
Absolutely. 2 things though. This is more, and this is not a critique. It's just more like how my sense of humor works. Yo, why the fuck does Matt need to get his ass whooped all the time, bro? He's always getting his ass whooped.
Well, I could say that that's just practice, because when he showed up in Echo, he was refined.
He was.
You got it just like in the Spider-Man. If you saw the last 3 episodes, right?
Yep.
He got his ass kicked.
Yeah, he did.
And that's to make him better the next time.
Okay.
Because if you don't, that's how serial killers become serial killers, right? It's not that somebody stops him. It's like somebody didn't stop him early on.
Got it.
So because if you never got your ass kicked, right, you go out overconfident and then get killed as opposed to just getting your ass kicked.
Right. But dude, I'm like every episode, bro. I'm like me and my wife are laughing about like, yo, can he like whoop someone's ass finally? Right. Holy shit. Batman wouldn't be doing that. I'm just saying.
Batman got his ass kicked a lot early on, dude. That's why they started a year 2.
That's true. Yeah, we didn't want to see Pattinson get his ass whipped for the fucking 2 movies. Yep. And the other thing that is funny is, dude, the kids use this term, a simp. Adrian, ever heard this? Okay, it's like it's not like a cuck. It's more like you're whooped. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yo, Fisk with this Vanessa shit, bro, enough's enough already. Like, dude, you met her at a fucking art gallery. You knew her for like 2 weeks, and every damn thing is just as long as Vanessa's okay.
Right.
Well, he got in the way of Vanessa. Dude, there's plenty of fish in the sea, Fisk.
Well, you gotta have something that the fact that you're pissed off about that means that they got you.
Absolutely,
which is what they want. You gotta have a polarizing personality.
Yeah.
And then you marry that with a giant on-screen presence.
Right.
Like the Penguin.
Yeah.
I mean, How did you feel when he choked out my man's at the end, right? You probably wanted to punch the fucking TV out, right? So that's when they got you.
Yeah.
And that's what they want.
Oh, yeah, no, you're 100% right. I love the character, but I'm like, dude, he's just enough with the Vanessa shit, bro. Just let her fucking go. Who cares, you know? But I mean, it's not like they were like married for like 10 years, bro. You just met the chick like a couple weeks ago, bro.
You know, sometimes, dude, when you find them,
okay,
you know,
it was just love at first sight.
I don't know about that, but I mean, he just worked himself over. I mean, think about it. If he didn't have Vanessa with him, dude, he would probably be fucking Cobblepot. You know, just a beast, just unhinged, and with nothing to rein him in, which would go, I think, counter to where he's trying to go.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's just me and my, you know.
But I get it, though.
We talk about wrestling a little bit here, Adrian. Well, I do. You're like on the outside looking at it, right? I'm assuming you've heard of this guy, Rey Mysterio.
I have not.
You have not heard Rey Mysterio Jr.? No. Nope. So he is a luchador, so from Mexico, small guy, probably 5'2", but one of the best. I don't want to say luchador because just from a wrestling standpoint, he's one of the top guys. But he's a legend in the game.
Okay.
Wrestled back in Mexico, wrestled in WCW early days, ECW, and he's been in WWE for a long time. Reason I bring him up here though is he's always known for these kind of really extravagant ring gear. Like he always wears a mask and always a different mask. His gear is very colorful. Very popular with the kids. He's incorporated comic book characters in his gear several times. Like he's done like a Batman thing. He's done Joker. But he hasn't done them in a while. And some fans online have like, when's he going to do something Marvel again? But the reason he hasn't is Marvel actually sent cease and desist letters to WWE because of this. Wow. It's kind of shitty, dude. Like and I'll show you. So actually go to the laptop shot real quick. Oh, laptop. Oh, you know what? Let me, I set you up there, Adrian. I made you look bad. Look at that. Don't worry. The interns will cut all this out.
Well, don't worry about it. They are watching you plug your shit in.
Yeah, they should be doing this, know? All right, so right here we got his Wolverine.
Right.
Okay.
It's more like a catfish.
Yeah, so they were like inspired by it. It's not like a complete. Yeah.
Got it.
And then we got his Black Panther, right? Uh-huh. And then right here we got a little Cap and a little Mysterio. Okay. So they're not, direct replicas of these costumes. They're more inspired by, and you would think like, dude, WWE's a massive company, Marvel's a massive company. I don't think that WWE's making money off of Marvel doing this. It's just more of like, it's like paying homage to Marvel, but they fucking sent cease and desist letters and shut that shit down, dude.
Well, it's like that, when an actor signs up to do a movie and the contract says your likeness in perpetuity means beyond the end. It's like forever, ever.
Like Christopher Reeves in The Flash, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's likeness. And not only is it likeness, but it's also kind of, what's the word when you, defamation.
Okay.
Defamation of character.
Damn. So
it's kind of like that, dude. It's like, They probably would have left him alone if he actually had went to the store and bought a costume that they produced.
Right.
But because there's such change with it, it muddies the property up.
Okay.
So I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
Or they just being a dick and just, hey, dude, just don't do anything.
Yeah, I think it's more that one. It's kind of messed up, though. It's like play together in the sandbox.
Right.
But
all right. Hey, whatever. Yeah. I thought you were going to say at 5'2", he's going to play Wolverine or some shit.
Yes, that is definitely possible. Someone who's not going to play Wolverine, though, but someone who played Norman Osborn in Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
Rumored to be in talks to return as these characters in the MCU. So we saw him show up in No Way Home. And I would say that he was one of the highlights of that movie.
Okay.
Seeing him reprise Green Goblin. I mean, how'd you feel about the contrast between because it was a different portrayal, right? How do you feel about the contrast between him playing that character in Spider-Man 1 versus No Way Home?
I was just glad to see him as opposed to Jamie Foxx as Electro.
Yep.
So, I mean, I was just, sometimes I don't have a reaction means that it's a good thing.
Okay.
So when I see something and it doesn't move me either way, so his presence there was just as good, I think, as the first.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the Jamie Foxx thing, which I'm like cringing. It's like, that just don't look right.
Yeah.
So that was that.
Got it. Did you like Jamie Foxx more in No Way Home or more in the original Spider-Man?
No Way Home.
Yeah.
It looked better.
Yeah, closer to Electro.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's almost like he got his redemption in that because of how much they fucked that character up in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
There's that.
Yes, it happens, dude. But yeah, I really liked his Green Goblin obviously in both, but I really liked the changes they made in No Way Home. I like that they allowed him not to have the mask on because the mask kind of in the first one kind of it feels like it muffles the performance a little bit.
Okay.
And no offense if you're watching, Mr. Dafoe, but you a weird looking cat, bro.
He is.
So you look like a fucking goblin, bro. Like
yeah, he does. He does.
Yes. So I'd be all for him returning.
Sure.
Now the I guess returning where? Because there's a Spider-Man 4 movie on the horizon.
Yeah.
But there's also 2 Avengers movies that are going to have a lot of multiversal elements in them. If I'm the guy making the decision, I would prefer that he shows up in like Secret Wars where everyone's showing up.
Sure.
I don't know that I'd want him in another Spider-Man
Right.
Tom Holland solo movie. Like there's so many other villains to explore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, also, dude, I'll expand on this later, but let's just say, when I was talking about all the Crypt Keepers, they keep bringing back all these Crypt Keepers, right? And then I'll just say for the Captain Falcon movie, I'm glad when he transformed back from Red Hulk to the President, that was a long lens shot.
Oh yeah, we don't need no clothes,
dude. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But it's like at this point, I don't give a shit. They bringing back so many old people. It's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Why not William Dafoe? What is he, like 80 or something?
Something like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck it.
Fuck it, bring him back till he's dead, right? Well, even past that, because you just created him with AI.
That's it.
But yeah, I definitely would love to see him back. I thought he was great. I mean, if one day we'll rank like top on-screen villains, but he's got to be at the top of most people's lists. For he really helped define that character in that movie.
Absolutely. When we talk about an actor owning a character, William Dafoe owned that character, dude.
Absolutely. And it was cool. I mean, the first time we've seen something like this where we know him from the Tobey Maguire movie, but he pretty much played the main villain in this, No Way Home, the Tom Holland movie.
Right.
And obviously Maguire was there, but he had a, bigger issue with Tom Holland because he's responsible for Aunt May's death and almost sent, that Peter Parker over the edge. So yeah, I think all in all, I'm glad that he got, and they actually asked him about this about a year ago, I believe, and would he want to? Actually, they asked him recently in December if he'd be down to return in Spider-Man 4. He just says, "We'll see. I could come back." And then he said, "Listen, Tom was great to work with, and the whole series of Spider-Man films that I did were great fun." And then he just pretty much danced around it, but it's cool. We talk about sometimes, unfortunately, there's actors that are casted in these roles and then they're on screen, Brie Larson, and it's like, oh, they don't even want to fucking play this character.
Right.
Or you'll hear him say things after the fact, like, no, I wasn't really a comic guy at all. I just did the movie, do a movie.
Right. I just wanted a paycheck.
Right. I like when you hear shit like this. Like I loved it. It was great. Even sometimes when the movies don't do well.
Right.
Like, you can't pick and choose.
Right.
I love when people are like, hey, the movie bombed, but shit, we had a lot of fun doing it. Like, it was great. I always come back for that.
Right. But what I don't like is when an actor goes in and tries to defend the movie.
Right.
Like from a director's perspective.
Sure.
Well, that's not your role, dude.
Exactly.
You're an actor. You talk about your involvement in it and whether you did your best and whether you portrayed the role to the best of your ability and knowledge. Not, the movie did bad because the director, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. No, yeah, be more like William Dafoe and less like some of these other folks out there. Moving on to some video game talk, dude. How's your Marvel Rivals career going, Adrian?
Dude, I'm just like the Daredevil. I'm just stuck.
You're just stuck.
Yep.
Well, there's the mid-season to the first season of Marvel Rivals starts on February 21st. So this is kind of at least unique to me. I'm sure there's maybe some other games that do this, but they started season 1, about a month ago, and Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman were added to the game. I will say that I've used Mr. Fantastic maybe 3 times. I use Invisible Woman all the time. She's phenomenal. And I got that Malice skin. Pretty cool.
Of course you use the Invisible Woman all the time.
Yes, absolutely. But no, she's a healer. She's a fantastic character to play as.
Sure.
What are you trying to say, Adrian?
I'm not trying to say anything, dude.
I mean, she's invisible. Can't see her anyways.
I'm glad you're enjoying the character that you're playing in the game.
So they are adding 2 more, though. They're adding the rest of the Fantastic Four. Human Torch and the Thing will be added. I actually think both of these characters will be fun to play as.
Sure.
The issue with Marvel Rivals is there are a lot of you people out there that you guys play like dickheads sometimes, okay? Because, dude, there's a strategy to it.
Okay.
All right, so it's a 6v6, right? So 6 on our team, 6 on their team, and all the characters are very diverse. Their moveset, there's no 2 characters that play the same.
Okay.
So, it's not just, I like the way this one looks, so I'll play as them. You need to get someone that you know how to use their abilities, how they balance. Also, sometimes in the team itself, certain characters play better together. Their abilities kind of work together.
Complement each other.
Absolutely. And there's 3 classes. We've talked about this. I'm going to use the names that most of y'all know, not what they call them in this game. There's a tank. So tanks have a lot of health.
Right.
They're typically slower. They do pretty good damage. They're the ones that are usually in the front absorbing a lot of the hits because they have bigger health or higher health. Characters like Magneto. He's actually my most used character. I use Magneto all the time.
Okay.
Captain America's a tank. Penny Parker's a tank from the Spider-Verse. Hulk is a tank. Doctor Strange is also a tank. So there's DPS or duelists. These are high damage characters, kind of mid-range health. That if a tank has 600 health, a DPS may have 200 or 300. Your characters. These have the most characters are in this class. These are the characters everybody loves to play as.
Okay.
They're fun. They do damage. They're quick. You got Wolverine. You got Scarlet Witch. You got Mr. Fantastic's in there. You got Storm. Storm's badass. I've been using her a lot lately.
Yeah, Iron Man in there.
Iron Man is a tank. He's fun as shit too. He's flying around.
He's a tank or DP?
I mean DPS. He's DPS. He's high damage. Not a lot of health. But so, of the DPSs, I've been using Wolverine a lot lately. He has this kind of cool thing where he's like a very risky character to play because the more he gets hit, the more damage he does with his attacks. So almost like you want to get hit a little bit.
Right.
And then the more you connect with your attacks, the higher your damage output is too. So he's like, you got to get in there. He's quick. But he doesn't have a lot of health. Okay. He has one ability that will rejuvenate a bunch of health, but that cooldown's like almost 2.5 minutes. So basically you can use it, but you can't use it again for like another 2 minutes.
So in the game, they're taking advantage of his Berserker Rage thing. So you hit him, he gets more and more pissed off.
Yep.
He goes into this Berserker Rage, but he's not in that Berserker Rage forever.
Correct.
You got like a couple of minutes and then he's out.
Absolutely. And if you're not attacking, then that will drain down. So, but yeah, he's a fun character to play as. And then you have the strategists, which are healers. These are the Invisible Woman, Cloak and Dagger, Loki, Luna Snow. Their job is to heal. So a perfect team is like you got your tanks in the front, your DPS kind of in the middle, and your healers in the back. You should have probably 2 healers. Here's what happens, though. You get in the game. Everybody wants to play as their favorite character, Adrian. Everyone wants to pick a fucking DPS. So we're playing the other day. I'm a tank, and there's 5 DPS. What happens? We lose because no one's healing. The other team has 2 healers. It's just basic shit. So I kind of wait until everybody picks and pick wherever the void is because I'm not playing like competitively, but I'm not playing to lose either.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to win some shit, bro.
Right.
Fuck. I'm almost 40.
Can you play 2 characters at one time?
No.
Can both teams have the same characters?
Yep.
Okay. So you can have an Iron Man against an Iron Man.
Correct.
Sue Storm against a Sue Storm.
There you go.
Okay.
But you can't have 2 on the same team at the same time.
Got it.
Yep. And then now I also use Cloak and Dagger a lot because it's almost like a cheat code. It's like playing as 2 characters.
Oh, okay, so Cloak and Dagger, which are two characters, but you can play them together because they switch out.
They're one character. So you start as whoever. Cloak is or Dagger's the healer.
Right.
Her ability heals.
She's got the light.
Yep, she's got the light. So if she hits, so your teammate, you'll see their health bar as they're draining. You attack them, and it actually heals them. And it does do damage to the other team. And then when you switch to Cloak, his ability is similar to Scarlet Witch, where there's like something, his whatever, like power extends from his hand, and it attaches onto the enemy, and it just drains their health if you're within range.
Okay.
So he's more of a DPS, and so it's a pretty cool cheat code. Okay. But yeah, just guys, someone's got to heal. Somebody's got to heal. Somebody's got to fucking heal, please. Right. Not that these are the guys playing with me, but because the people watching us probably don't play like that. I doubt they play like dickheads, Adrian. Most likely not. So, but that is the news and rumors this week. We're gonna wrap this up with a little thumbs up, thumbs down, and we try to get through this so quick because we got a lot to talk about today. All right. And I really want to spend the bulk of our time talking about this movie. All right. So, are you ready for thumbs up, thumbs down?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Captain America Brave New World took in over $40 million on Friday, making it the second biggest opening for a Captain America movie behind the best Cap movie ever, Civil War. I give us a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Daredevil Born Again set for a Disney Plus 2-episode premiere, Adrian, on March 4th.
Nice.
Is that a thumbs up?
Thumbs up.
I didn't even tell you that before.
No, you didn't.
I saved the dessert for last.
That's
Surprise. I didn't want to spoil it all in the trailer, okay? The real reason Rey Mysterio stopped wearing Marvel-inspired ring gear is Marvel was sending the cease and desist to WWE. I guess a thumbs down, dude.
Thumbs down on the action, but I understand it.
You understand. You get it.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe rumored to be in talks to return as Norman Osborn / Green Goblin in the MCU. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Bring my man back. And last but not least, Marvel Rivals mid-season starts on February 21st. We'll see Human Torch, The Thing added to the game, plus a new Central Park map. So I'm excited about that. I give this thumbs up.
Thumbs up for you.
Yes. And thumbs down to all you people playing like jackasses. Nobody wants to heal. Everyone wants to be their favorite character and lose. Let's be smart, okay?
Right.
Jesus.
What's the point of playing on the team when you're going to, jeopardize the team?
Exactly. Because you're selfish and you suck. Yo, here's the best part. You can see everyone's stats throughout the game, right? So you got a guy playing as, let's say he's playing as Iron Man.
Yeah.
And he's 0-10, meaning he's killed no one. He's been killed 10 times.
Damn.
So I go in the chat, 0-10, switch. You obviously don't know how to play as this character. Pick somebody else. You suck.
Wow.
But you just want to fly on Iron Man. Iron Man don't want to get killed 10 times in a row, bro.
Damn.
Yep.
Is there like a limit to the number of times you can get killed in a game?
No. Oh yeah, you can kill as much as you feel like.
Oh, but you have to just return back to the fight.
Yes.
And it takes time.
Absolutely.
Okay. Which also puts your team at risk.
Absolutely. So you end up with. So the other day when I was the only tank and we had 5 fucking DPSs.
Right.
I'm Magneto. I'm fighting 3 people at once because my whole team's dead.
Damn.
Because they can't stay alive for more than 2 seconds. Yeah, it was great. It was my favorite thing. Yeah, and I'm like trying to fight these guys off, and finally, they overcome me. But I'm like, dude, really? But I'm probably playing with like 8-year-olds, and here I am, going on a rant.
Right, getting all pissed off, shit. Yeah. Cursing it over the microphone, shit. You dumb.
Right? Yo, give the controller to your dad. Go to bed. Anyways,
that's funny shit.
Well, that's thumbs up. And yes, I'm still dealing with something from New Jersey, dude. If fucking Jersey winds come up here and it just screws us all up,
That's fucked up.
Yeah, it is. We should just like gate New Jersey. You know that raft, the raft prison? We should move New Jersey out there.
There you
just
go.
Like that, people still live there, but just y'all stay over there. Anyways, no offense at all to anyone who lives in New Jersey.
I'm sure they don't. Right. I'm sure they're not offended.
Not at all. No, we got our boy Nick from Jersey. We like Nick. Even he doesn't like Jersey though.
Damn.
Yes. So we're gonna move on to Did They Cook, and this is going to lead us right into Captain America: Brave New World. So there's the theme this week, Adrian. Everyone on Did They Cook was from Captain America: Brave New World. Okay. So. And for full context, we don't know how we feel about this. Well, I know how I feel. You know how you feel. But we've not shared that yet.
No.
We're going to share it with all you guys here live, okay? All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
Did They Cook is where I name some casting choices from the past being like last week. And Adrian will let us know, in his opinion, if they cooked in these roles, okay? And if you don't know what cooked means, fucking wake up and join us all in 2025, all right? Or use Google, Or that. It's the thing, like, it's really inexcusable to not know basic shit in 2025 when you have an information like database in your hand at all times.
Well, I can speak for myself, and there's a lot of lingo that I'm not aware of because I'm not in that arena.
Correct.
Now, that could be said about pretty much anything.
Right.
Like the U.S. funnels, a fraction of the varying types of food there is in the world. To us, we consume it, but there's so much shit outside the world that we just have no idea about. So, but once you're exposed, then it's your responsibility.
Absolutely.
But if you're never exposed, then you don't know what you don't know.
True. I say use your little Google machine in your head, but that's not what we're here. So we're talking about
Google, what is it that I don't know?
Yeah. Be there all day. All right. You ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Anthony Mackie as Captain America.
He did a damn thing.
He did?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, he did. I was very impressed. Number 2, Giancarlo Esposito as Sidewinder.
No.
Okay. Harrison Ford as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
Yes.
Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres / the New Falcon.
Yes.
Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns / the Leader.
No.
All right, there you have it. I think I agree across the board on that. So that's Did They Cook? You guys let us know if you saw the movie or not. Now, I will say if you haven't, I recommend go watch it.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the review now. Before we even get into it, let's give our scores for this movie.
Okay.
I'm going to say, I'm going to give this a 7.8.
Yeah. I'll do a 7.
7.
Which is actually up from what I originally thought about it.
Yeah, well, I guess going into it, what did you expect that you'd be rating this movie?
I thought I'd be rating like a 6.5 or 6.8, something like that. Actually, up until I finished the movie.
Okay.
My wife talked me up to like a 7.5.
Got it. Okay. Dude, I must say I was highly impressed. Mm-hmm. I went into this, I tried to go into this very just level-headed and not listen to what I've read or heard so far. First, now I did look back. I think early in the week, there was a lot of positive feedback about this movie. Mm-hmm. And then once the critics got to it, then they literally shit all over this movie. Mm-hmm. To the point, we're going to get into this a little bit, but it's got like a 50% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Mm-hmm. But the audience score was a lot higher.
Right.
And so I try to go into this and not let any of that impact my, take on this movie. And dude, I must say, from start to finish, I enjoyed it. Mm. I think that the action was cool. There was nothing like, people talking about the shitty CGI. I think everything looked really cool. Mm-hmm. I liked the tone of the movie. It was political. It's weird to say grounded because there's like that whole world war brewing in this, but it felt grounded because it wasn't cosmic level. It wasn't the world's about to end type shit. It was literally a conflict between a couple countries.
Yeah, you fighting 2 gangs fighting over a street block.
There you go, which I liked. It was nice for a change.
Right.
Everything doesn't need to be the entire universe and multiverse is going to end. We're going to get there. Right. With Secret Wars and all that shit. Every movie before it doesn't need to be that. Yeah. I like the tone. And I talk about, we'll start with Anthony Mackie as Cap. We have given this guy a lot of shit over the past couple of years. Not really him, because he's a phenomenal actor. Mm-hmm. I've never said anything bad about his acting. It was more just the going from this Falcon character to the Captain America when I just felt like there was still a lot more story to be told with the Steve Rogers character. That was probably my biggest thing. Like, why are we changing this right now? Mm-hmm. I'm not one of those, it's too woke because you're making him black. Like, dude, it happens in the comics. This is not like a race swap. Mm-hmm. This is not a race swap. Mm-hmm. This happens in the comics. Let's bring this version of the character on screen. Right. Like the Miles Morales Spider-Man. To me, that's not a race swap. That's A different character.
Well, that's a whole different situation because you have a completely different person.
Yes.
You don't have a black dude playing Peter Parker.
Exactly.
You have a Miles Morales in a different universe playing a different version of a Spider person.
Which I don't have an issue with.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
and
not.
Kind of the same thing here. I don't have an issue. It was just more of, God, is he Falcon still or is he Cap or whatever?
Right. My big thing was the bastardization of the Falcon and Captain America. Right. Now, if they would have just said, hey, Steve Rogers, he's going to go back in time, be with his girl. We need somebody to take over this. Hey, you've been his sidekick forever. It would just make sense for you to just naturally take over. Boom. We got a new Captain America. Yep. But this hybridization of the both of them, that's what I'm not feeling.
Right.
So.
But I feel like you said, Did They Cook? He did his thing. He
did.
But they changed enough about the character. Like, if you remember, Falcon was the guy with the wisecracks. He was the sarcastic, always had to get the last word in, always made, almost like the downer, like, really, this shit again? But hey, I'm here for the ride. Right. And I feel like he did transform into that Captain America where, like, dude, I'm in charge, I'm leading. I don't always feel like doing it the right way, but I have to. It was that Boy Scout piece that Steve Rogers always had, the part that you love but you hate. And I feel like he embodied that in this movie.
I don't think he did the Boy Scout thing, but you could see it in his performance, how he stepped it up a notch. Yeah. You could see, and he kind of summed it up when he was talking to the kid in the bed. Right. He's like, I have that responsibility, and that's what this role is. You know? But the thing about it is like, when you see Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark, or you seeing Boseman playing T'Challa, you see these characters, and you see that character transcend the surface of the actor's body. Right. You see that in them, and he did that. That's what I say. He did that damn thing. Yeah. In this role, which is a lot more than I expected to see.
Right. Like little things when, well, not little, but when Joaquin gets shot down, and it's almost like I feel like the Falcon in him wants to go down and help his friend. Right. But the Captain America in him is like, I got to save these guys.
Well, actually, he was doing that, but the guy on the ship was like, hey, dude, we got somebody that's going to go and retrieve him. Right. You got to stop this airplane from attacking this other thing. So he was on his way already down there to do that. And the other interesting thing about this is that you saw the Captain America shield, the colors, but you mostly saw the Falcon. Yes. In this movie.
Yep, absolutely. You said you didn't like, or you said Giancarlo didn't cook as Sidewinder. Why?
Because they changed. Sidewinder in the comics was an assassin. Yeah. But there was no suit. I'm used to the suit. I'm used to the character playing off of the powers and abilities that the character had. Right. You know, they called him Sidewinder because in the comics, because he had on the suit, he looked like a snake and did these snake
whole
things.
Serpent.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, they just call him Sidewinder because of what? Right. I mean, you're just a typical assassin. Right. I mean, a talented assassin, but typical assassin nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's an amazing actor. It's like I liked his presence in the movie. But I agree, it's like it's not Sidewinder. Right. Just call him fucking Tommy or something. You know what I mean? Like, call him something else.
Exactly. I mean, his portrayal was good. Yeah. I mean, as an assassin, I mean, his relentlessness, his the way he portrayed that, and he was just popping around, just kill. Everybody was fair game to him, dude. Right. It's like, you're my way. I'm just gonna take you out. Like when he shot the truck windshield out, then immediately threw a bomb in there. Yes. And then immediately set up to, like, if he just happened to get out of this, I got some more ammunition for him. Right. But then even if that happens, but of course the Brainiac guy was telling him potentially that he could escape all this shit, but he was just prepared for the next thing and the next thing.
He's a badass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just almost a disservice to call him Sidewinder.
Exactly. Because Sidewinder in the comics was kind of a like class D. Yeah. I wouldn't even call him a super villain. No, he was just a villain. Dude, you know.
Yep. And Harrison Ford he's a great actor, but it's kind of a tough task to take over a character Because William Hurt played Thaddeus Ross forever, like since the original Incredible Hulk.
Right.
He was never a main character, but he was in a lot of these movies.
Right. But he was also 20 years younger, too, I think, playing those roles.
Right, absolutely. But, he passed, and then Harrison Ford steps in and has to continue this character, but not only continue it, evolve this character.
Right.
And I thought he nailed it.
I did, too.
Like, he felt like a president.
Yeah, definitely. He's one of those people that can pull off that presidency look and feel. Absolutely. It's just, anyway, I get into it.
I like the fact that, I don't know about you, but as a viewer, I felt like I want to trust him, but I can't. Because he's Ross.
Right.
He's got to be up to something.
Right.
He just walked that line really good, and he's just such a good actor where he didn't give it away in his portrayal.
Correct. And I thought he was behind a lot of this stuff when he kind of was. Yeah. But he wasn't.
Right.
What was happening was a result of him.
Yep.
But he wasn't the cause.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I also felt for him a little bit with the whole daughter stuff. Like, as much as he's an ass, as much as all the shit he did, he's now not spoke to his daughter in probably 10 years. All because he was trying to go after the Hulk for his own reasons.
Right.
So I kind of felt for him a little bit there. Sure. But also, like, maybe you deserve some of it type shit. It was very well-written character.
Sure.
Who surprised me, too, was Joaquin Torres as the new Falcon.
Sure.
I didn't even barely remembered him from the show.
Right.
He was in that show, that Falcon Winter Soldier
show.
Yeah,
he was.
But, like, he was just sort of a non-factor in that show, right? But... dude, they made me care about this character.
I don't know about caring about him, but he did do a good portrayal.
Yeah.
And he is, definitely positioning himself for the role of the Falcon if and when they decide to split.
Right.
Captain Falcon.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminded me of when, we had Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson in the Winter Soldier and those Cap movies. He played that good sidekick.
Right.
I think it helped me also see Sam Wilson more as Captain America because he had a legit Falcon sidekick.
And I think that's an important piece because I don't think because I was bought in toward the end of the movie of, him playing, Captain America. But I don't think I would have had that buy-in unless I, in the back of my mind, had a replacement for the Falcon.
Absolutely.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking that, like I said, I think that they showed more Falcon than Captain America, but I don't think that if they didn't have the sidekick, Torres, I would have had that acceptance.
Correct.
And also maybe that hope that's at some point they're going to split the two.
Yeah.
The kid's going to take over as Falcon, and then Anthony Mackie can, full-fledged play Captain America.
Right. It was like, as much as he still had a lot of the Falcon, the wings and all that shit, right?
Right.
He had enough Captain America in him that this Falcon didn't have. Like, it was enough to separate those two. And I agree. If Falcon wasn't, Joaquin wasn't featured in this movie, I think we would have still just looked at Anthony Mackie as Falcon.
Right.
Because now we have this contrast between the two. And I like their dynamic. He kind of fills that void because with Sam Wilson becoming Cap, we lost a lot of that humor. Sam Wilson was pretty much the comic relief in a lot of these Captain America movies, as serious as they were, right?
Right.
And we lost that because now he's a lot more serious in the Captain America role. But Joaquin Torres filled that void for me, and it didn't feel forced.
Right. I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Now, Tim Blake Nelson as Samuel Stearns, the leader.
Dude, they might as well go into the dollar store and got a rubber mask.
It was horrible.
And put on top of his head. And then it was bad, dude. Yep. It was just bad.
And he looks nothing like the leader from the comics.
Nothing. The leader from the comics just had a big ass noggin, and he was green.
Yeah.
So why you got to make this the brain thing and the one eye? And it was just bad.
I honestly think it's probably the worst thing about the film.
Absolutely, it was the worst thing about the film for me.
Yeah.
Right.
And that goes to show you that I think the film was really good.
Yeah.
But the worst part was the way they depicted this villain. Like, they've done such amazing things with motion capture, like the Thanos treatment, some of these Hulk, or in this movie itself, the Red Hulk. How fucking great did Red Hulk look?
Dude, I think that's one of my talking points on this. This was the perfect Hulk design for me that I've seen. He's lean, but he's massive.
Yep.
Proportionate. The facial structure, how he jumped, how he maneuvered in the air when he was jumping, the things that he engaged in, how he moved through the trees, everything about this. This is how the Hulk should be done. Yeah,
absolutely. And then you got this shit show called The Leader.
Right.
Like, this goes back, and I guess, the MCU, for all the things it's great at, and I talk all the time about how amazing it is to have this just cinematic universe, all that great stuff, right? One of my biggest issues, though, with the MCU is when they change characters, I would say unnecessarily. Why change the way the leader looks?
Right.
For what?
And the thing about it is that that's such a simple, just put a big head on top of this dude, right? Just make his forehead a 30 head. And paint him green. That's it. That's all you got to do.
And I again, kind of like you were saying earlier, I'm not there when they discuss these things, but I wonder if it's like we don't want it to be too ridiculous on screen, this and that. But what y'all forget is not everybody that goes to see this movie is a comic book fan,
right?
But a lot of us are. Yep. Right. So we're used to the ridiculous looks in the comics.
So you worry about a ridiculous, little green big-headed dude, but you got the ridiculous Hulk over here, right?
Exactly.
So, I mean, they're both ridiculous because they're both made up.
Yep.
So why don't you just make them the way they're supposed to be made and call it a day?
That's my point. We've seen Red Hulk in the comics.
Right.
So when it happens on screen, it's not like, what the fuck is that? You're like, oh, shit, that's Red Hulk, right?
Exactly.
So, but when we saw the leader, we're like, what the fuck is that? Because that's not how he looks.
Exactly.
Let him look ridiculous with the big-ass Mars Attacks head, dude. I'm all for it.
Right. So the leader and Sidewinder were the disappointments for me in this, but more so the leader.
Yes.
Because he was behind all of this stuff.
Correct.
Right? And they just pooch-screwed him.
Because at least Sidewinder, Giancarlo killed it.
Yeah.
As an assassin.
Right.
And that, almost like the stuff that we're critiquing, we can't even fault the actor. It was Marvel's dumbass idea to either call him Sidewinder and change all these things.
Right.
Or just make up a character. Fuck it. They do that enough, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, the lead, it was a major letdown, and I could see why they hid that, because we didn't see the leader in the trailer.
No, not at all.
We heard rumors. We knew he was in the movie. But I think that wasn't like, we're going to hide this because it's a great surprise. It's probably like, we're going to hide this because it's a piece of dog shit.
Right.
We don't want to serve that to you first,
Right. We show you this. You definitely won't show up to the movie theater.
So, I mean, going through some of the points in the movie. Isaiah Bradley. If we only do 5 on Did They Cook, I was going to include him in there as well. Dude, I thought he was phenomenal in this movie.
Which one is he?
The older cap, the black dude.
I thought that was Lumley.
Well, that's the actor's name, but Isaiah Bradley's
got it.
Character.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of my other talking points. Did you know that he played Manta in the 90s, I think?
No.
Like 92 to 94 or something like that? Yeah. Okay. This was I think I mentioned him before. He was a wheelchair-bound person. He made a suit that allowed him to be basically a black Captain America, in his neighborhood, and he went around, doing good stuff. And he had like a flying car that could fly in the air and also go underwater, things like that. So that's actually the guy I remember talking about him earlier because I brought him up when the guys from across the pond sent us that comic book, which we never heard about before.
Right.
And I said, I hope they're not making this character off of Manta.
That's right.
Which is what this guy used to play. Okay. And then, of course, we never heard from him again.
Right. But, dude, I loved him in this.
Yeah.
And it was a great dynamic with him and Sam Wilson. It reminded me a little bit of the Steve and Bucky relationship.
Sure.
Different because he's older, and I think, remember in the show, Sam kind of went to him as like someone he looked up to.
Correct.
But he helped him. This guy was just like Bucky, kind of dealing with punishment for some crimes that he really had no control over, right? Sam helped exonerate him in that show, and then also saved him again in this one.
Right.
So I really liked that dynamic. It was cool too. Like we've always knew he was a super soldier in the past, but we got to see it.
Right.
Even though he's like 80 years old, but he still got it in him.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, I mean, a couple of things that kind of pissed me off about this and that dynamic is that, you got 5 active shooters in the White House, right? And then the whole country comes after the only black dude, right? They chase him down and they get him in this garden or whatever. Where's the other 4?
Right.
Just camping out. I mean,
well, he did capture them too. Because they were the ones that were killed in their cell. Yeah,
they caught them, but they didn't do what they did.
Oh, absolutely not.
So, I mean, but that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just something that I noticed,
Yep. Absolutely. But I mean, hey, would that not have been how it went down if it was real?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But the other funny thing that I liked about it was I think Sam, is convincing himself, fucking mustache, dude. Sam is convincing himself to take that super soldier serum, dude.
Yes.
Because like when that character left the White House and he jumped out the window.
Yeah, he had to go around.
And Sam had to like walk down the steps like an old man and shit. Yep. And he just kept saying, I had second thoughts about the super soldier serum. And then he said, I've Winter Soldier. He's like, it's bullshit or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think toward the end, then especially after going into it with the Red Hulk.
Oh my God.
He's like, yeah, we need to make this happen kind of a thing. Yep. So
we're gonna get into that last, the Red Hulk fight. But how did you feel about the action throughout this? I feel like it was different. Like it wasn't as big as some of these Marvel movies, but it all made sense.
Sure.
And I enjoyed it from that standpoint. How'd you feel about the action scenes?
So by the time I was done with this movie, my wife, she went with me. She went with me.
Yeah.
And she loved the movie.
Really?
She loved the movie. And I'm sitting there and I'm like,
Yeah.
It was okay. It didn't move me one way or the other.
Okay.
Except, chasing down the black man thing. And I left the movie and she was like, well, what did you like about the movie? I'm like, I couldn't really put it in words. But then she was like, I love the movie. It was this, and this. And I got to thinking about a conversation that we had previously.
Yeah.
When we was talking about Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
And I said that if, I was a professional critic, I would probably be sterile and be like a Rotten Tomato critic.
Right.
And I realized that I went into this movie as a Rotten Tomato
you were
critic.
turned into a tomato.
Right. So I'm like, I wasn't, the movie was good enough to where I wasn't going to shit on it.
Right.
But it wasn't anything exciting about it.
So it's Rotten Tomatoes' fault.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yes.
So I got to think about it. And then that's why I say that she brought me up from like a 6.5 to like a 7.5.
Got it.
Because she made me realize that, I'm being overly critical about this movie and it actually deserves more than that. Right.
Yep. And I think it's something that unfairly the MCU kind of has to deal with. Like, I think we are as a whole overly critical to MCU movies.
Right.
Because of how much success they've had and how amazing some of the movies have been.
Right.
It's almost like we go into it comparing everything to like Endgame, like it's got to be, dude, it was one movie.
Right.
It took 10 years to build to that. I can't expect that same thing with fucking Ant-Man 3 or the first of this new Captain America series.
Right.
I almost have to, we talked about this here a few weeks ago, I almost have to look at this the same way I looked at those Phase 1 MCU movies, when it was just Iron Man 1, when it was just the Incredible Hulk, the first Captain America. Like I would put this almost right around the first Captain America, but a little bit, not as good.
Right.
But right about not that much worse. I wouldn't knock it down. I wouldn't Rotten Tomatoes it.
No, right. You asked me about, the action. It was, let's say mid.
Okay.
I mean, a couple of cool things, when the Falcon, I think if they would have did the using the wings to slice something a third time, they would have been too much.
Yeah.
But slicing the plane and slicing the car.
Yeah.
With the Hulk battle, that was pretty cool. We got an answer to my question about the White House scene.
Yes.
When something was going up the wall, so that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
And the coolest thing about it was the integration of the Wakanda technology.
Yep.
where when the Hulk was beating on it, and then he absorbed all that. But like you said, we'll get into that later. So the action was, I mean, it was mostly aerobatics. Right?
Yeah.
So that was okay, but those specific things kind of stood out. Also, when Sidewinder attacked the Anthony Mackie character, right? In the truck, in that whole scene.
When he didn't have the suit.
When he didn't have the suit. So that was pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, dude, I feel like there was so much in it. I heard some stupid complaints like this movie had no heart. The plot was, the plot thought it was smarter than it really was. Just stupid shit. And I feel like, dude, it had a lot of emotion.
Sure.
It's just, you gotta, to your point, you almost gotta Rotten Tomato yourself.
Right.
And go into it with an open mind and don't compare. It's not gonna hit the same beats as all these other movies.
Absolutely.
But the relationship between Sam and Joaquin almost dies, right? The dynamic between him and Isaiah and how he feels bad for all this shit, almost just like you, like, dude, he's being treated this way. He's even like, why y'all throwing him on the ground like this?
Right.
Like, and knowing that I have to do something about this.
Right.
I'm Captain, I ain't not just Falcon anymore. I'm Captain America. I got to fucking do something about this. Right. That whole standing up for what's right, even when the world's against you. That's Captain America.
Right.
101.
Right.
The same things that sometimes you're like, the shit that used to drive Tony Stark crazy about Cap, I feel like this Sam Wilson Cap did embody a lot of that.
Sure.
I like the explanation about the suit, because that was one of the things that you and I talked about when we first even heard about this movie.
Like how the fuck he's going to, withstand the Hulk.
Absolutely.
And how he's going to withstand this. I mean, he's flying Mach 20 or whatever, he's going up against fighters. How is he going to withstand that with a face open and all this kind of stuff? So all those got answered, I think.
And it makes sense.
Sure.
Because they did such a good job of portraying Wakanda and Vibranium in those movies before they, screwed the pooch and won't recast T'Challa. But they did such a good job of building up that element.
Right.
And then they also introduced adamantium here. They teased it.
Right.
It was kind of part of the story, but we haven't seen what they're going to do with it yet.
Where did they tease it?
Well, the whole island was adamantium.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and then the canister that Sidewinder stole had adamantium in it. That was Japan's adamantium.
Right.
And this treaty where they're agreeing to kind of ration this throughout, different countries. Now, obviously, this will lead somehow, Weapon X, somehow Wolverine. This is all going to lead to that somewhere in the MCU. But I thought it was cool that it didn't overtake a lot of this. It was just it was part of the story, but it wasn't the main focus.
But the thing about adamantium, and I think we have something coming up, adamantium versus vibranium, right?
Yes.
So adamantium, the properties of which, first of all, it was man-made in the comics, right? It wasn't found.
I thought it was alien, no?
No. Adamantium was man-made.
Yeah.
Vibranium came here on a rock, on a meteor, basically, landed in Wakanda. And there's different versions of that. But adamantium was made. So here's the rub. So you got a giant actually, people just think about the hand coming up out, but it's in the middle of the ocean, right? So that extends down. You're in the Indian Ocean, so you're probably 20, 30, 45,000 feet.
Yeah.
So you got the surface, you got this giant hand sticking out, probably. It looked like 5 to 10,000 feet up, right? Then you got another surface to the bottom of the ocean floor. That's probably another 20, 30, 40,000 feet. And then you got that whole body that's underneath the ocean floor.
Right.
So there's a lot of shit in there. Here's the thing. Adamantium, because it was man-made, you only got a few minutes to mess with this substance.
Yeah.
Because once it's hard, that's it,
That's
dude.
it, yeah.
You pretty much have to do molecular manipulation in order to change the structure of adamantium. So now you got this 100,000 foot being frozen adamantium. How are you going to deal with that?
Yeah.
So that's when the math is not math.
Got it. Well, they obviously changed the whole dynamic of adamantium here, because I forgot that I always assumed it was alien metal, but now it is.
Right. Now it is.
So. Yeah, they've definitely redid the adamantium origin here.
Yep.
But I feel like I don't mind it, because it's not a character. It's not like, you're changing Bruce Wayne, like, his parents didn't die or whatever.
Sure.
So I'm cool with that.
It's a metal. It's still pretty much indestructible.
Yeah.
I'm just curious what tech they're going to come up with in order to, because I mean, you got to think about it. You got to pretty much cut off the finger, take it someplace, demolecularize it, and then change. It's just crazy,
right? And there's so much of it,
and there's so much of it,
you know. And unlike the comics where they're trying to create little batches of it and only certain people have access to it, there's a handful of countries that have access to it now.
Right.
So
doesn't it make that less valuable when everybody has access to it, right?
Of course, the U.S. is going to take most of it, right?
Of course.
I'm sure in the treaty, most of it goes to us,
right?
But I like that, the whole Celestial Isle, because it finally answers that question of like, what are they doing with this damn Celestial coming out of the fucking ocean? I guess the one gift that Eternals shit show gave us was adamantium.
Right.
It's funny too how this movie was almost like a sequel to The Incredible Hulk more than any other movie.
Right.
Like, you got Ross, you got the leader in it, his daughter shows up at the end. It really continues that story more than anything Captain America related.
Right. Because they talked a lot about like the Abomination and the Hulk destroying, downtown and all this other kind of stuff. So
what I do like about it too is at one point when they were getting to the end of this Infinity Saga, it felt like a new viewer could not hop in and not go back and watch all 30 films, right? This movie did a good job of explaining and summing up a lot of the history to where you don't necessarily need to have seen anything before seeing this.
Sure.
Like, you feel that way?
I would agree with that. I mean, I really didn't think about it, but I would agree with that.
Like, we didn't go back and I got to rewatch this and watch that. And it was like, it summed it all up in like the first few minutes.
Sure.
It talked about the Abomination. It talked about the Sokovia Accords a little bit.
Right.
It literally just, in a few minutes kind of brought you up to speed enough to where you could understand what's going on.
Right.
I like that they did not, because one of the things I got from the trailer, it felt like they were making Sam Wilson like Superman almost. And that's why we're like, dude, he didn't have the serum, right? How's he withstanding all this?
Right.
But when you watch the movie, you realize, oh, my man got fucked up in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
He was struggling to get through. So it definitely didn't feel that way watching it. Like, oh, he's this super powered being.
Right.
I like that.
It's kind of like watching Daredevil.
Yeah.
Daredevil getting his ass beat all the time.
Yep.
To popping pills to, move on to the next thing because you got to get up for the next fight.
Yep. What'd you think about the Israeli Black Widow, Ruth Seraph?
I'm like, okay, so let's just include dude, I mean, we got. It was just weird.
It was
weird.
Now, she's based on Sabra from the comics,
right?
Who is an Israeli Black Widow, but she's kind of like a bigger, like
Sabra is
a badass. Yeah.
I mean, she's like an Olympic level athlete.
Right.
She's definitely not 2'2".
Correct.
Right. So what is this? Let's we've got the black, we got the trans, we got the this, we got the that. Let's get the little people now.
Yeah.
It just felt like that. It's like we just got to include everybody.
Right.
Give out all the purple ribbons now.
Yes.
To everybody in the class.
Yep. It did. Yeah. It was odd why she's so tiny and she's this Black Widow.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
And she was like a weird character, a weird actress. I mean, I've never seen her before, but I mean, it just felt weird in that role. The other dynamic I liked was the Secret Service agent with Ross.
Yes,
she was almost like, I'm not gonna guess. She was almost like his caretaker.
Yeah,
friend. As opposed to just a Secret Service agent that was watching out for him.
And she also knew Sam.
So it's pretty cool. And she also knew Sam.
Yeah. So she's kind of like playing both sides,
right.
But obviously, I mean, she's reporting to the president.
Correct. I mean, she had like special liberties on both sides.
Yeah.
With Sam and the president. So that was pretty cool to see.
Dude, I like seeing Bucky show up.
Yeah.
I wish he would have done a little more, though.
Yeah.
Nah. You like just the cameo?
No, yeah, I like the cameo.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, like if Tony Stark just walked into the rooms, for no reason at all, just to say hi and then bounce.
Yeah.
But it showed the relationship between him and Sam. Like what he say at the end, "I love you, bro," and then like bounced and shit, right? So that was cool. I think that was perfect.
Yeah. Something we didn't talk about earlier, but there was a Thunderbolts trailer during the Super Bowl. I don't know if you've seen this. We get to see a lot more of Sentry. Dude, this movie is looking like it's gonna be pretty good. You saw the trailer, actually?
I'm not sure. Well, how is it different from the other one where Sentry comes out and, hey, I'm Bob or something like that?
We actually see him in action a little bit.
Oh, then I did not see it at all.
Turning people into like black dust, like literally just killing
folks. Oh,
yeah.
That was that?
Yes.
I thought that was because they got this other thing coming out with, what's the name? I'll think about it.
Yeah. But I saw this new trailer. They showed it at the beginning of this movie as well. And, dude, I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts, which is crazy.
Wait a minute. Sentry doesn't have that power.
No?
Sentry is like Superman.
True. Yeah. So maybe it's someone else.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's somebody else turning to dust. I did see that, but
we see Sentry rip off Bucky's arm and throw it on the ground like nothing.
Okay, then I didn't see that. I didn't see that trailer.
But yeah, in this, there's also a scene where New York is like black shadows are kind of taking over. Right. So who the hell knows? I mean, I think a Nihilist was rumored to be in this, maybe. So, but this movie's looking pretty good. So that's in a couple months or so as well. But yeah, I just like seeing Bucky show up. Right. I think Sebastian Stan's amazing at playing that character. Right. And I'm glad that, even though they kind of aged up Steve Rogers, he's done, I'm glad that Bucky's still around.
Right.
Now, dude, in the comics, there is a comic line where Steve gets old, but he's still Captain America because he still has the serum, right? It's almost like Isaiah Bradley.
Exactly.
So, and we do see Sam's cap with Steve's cap in the comics at times. Mm-hmm. So we could still see that at some point.
Yeah.
No,
I was trying to find this. I've seen a lot of commercials on, I think it's a Netflix thing that's going to come on. What's the black chick, the high end? She's always
Amanda Waller.
She's
Viola Davis.
Yep. She's in this new show, and you see the crazy Captain America in it.
Okay.
It's called something. D2 or
I've seen it one. I can't think of the name, but I know what you're talking about.
Right. It starts out she's standing in front of like a D12 or whatever that that thing that happens once a year between all the nations or whatever.
Oh yeah.
G12 or whatever.
Yep.
And then it gets attacked, and then the crazy Captain America is in the elevator, and I'm gonna protect you, and bombs. It's just a bunch of shit.
Okay.
So that's coming down the pike too. I don't know if it's Netflix, but.
Speaking of the crazy cat, you're talking about U.S. Agent.
Yeah,
right? He's in Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
And I like what I've seen so far from him from the trailer. That's, and you got your girl. You're not big on the other Black Widow, Yelena, her sister.
Yeah, no.
But back to Cap. So we kind of saved this to the end. Actually, anything else you want to touch on before we get into the Red Hulk?
Well, I mean, they literally sold the hell out of Sam Wilson being Captain America because every 15 minutes, Captain America, hey, Captain America, Captain America, you're not Captain America. No, he didn't say you're not Captain America, he's saying you're not Steve Rogers. Yep. But they were selling the hell out of him being Captain America.
Yep.
And it's like,
Right. Yeah, I guess we have no choice, right?
Right.
But I do echo what you said earlier. I think he fucking nailed it. But Red Hulk, I think they did a good job of teasing this Red Hulk because there was the one point when he's on the ship where the leader's talking to him and he's trying to get him
off, right?
And he got real close to transforming,
yep.
right? And then we see the full transformation when the reporters are just interrogating the hell out of him, and then the leader gets on the mic, and dude, that was awesome.
Yeah,
like you said, the design was great. I sat back because we talk about the damn smart Hulk and how annoying that portrayal is now, and just wish we just had an angry Hulk on screen again.
Right.
I was so happy to at least get a few minutes of that in this movie.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the old school Hulk where he's just fucking shit up.
But I liked the whole look of this Hulk as opposed to like most of the previous Hulks, they were like super bulky.
Yeah.
And then the texture wasn't right. This Hulk seemed to blend into this movie more than the previous ones.
Yeah, it did a great job. And then the fight, because part of me this whole time I'm like, dude, how are we going to explain that Sam Wilson's not killed by the Hulk in, a few seconds?
Right.
But I think they did a good job with the Wakandan tech.
Yep.
And I mean, Sam Wilson was stretched to his limit in this fight.
Oh, he definitely was.
It wasn't an easy fight. It wasn't him fighting, Sidewinder in the street where this was, dude, he about this close to being in a bed right next to Joaquin Torres.
No, he's about to be extinct, because remember the Hulk at the end grabbed his head and was crushing his skull.
Yep.
If it wasn't for that vibranium dude, he would have been out.
Yeah. But dude, he went a little savage. Like, I mean, he's literally slicing this dude's skin. I mean, he's Hulk, but he went from like, I'm not going to overpower him. Let me just cut this motherfucker.
Right. Well, I mean, there's death by 1,000 cuts. So,
there you go.
I mean, he slowed him down enough. And it was pretty cool when the Hulk was pounding on him.
Yes.
That vibranium was absorbing all those strikes. And then when he came after him, he stuck that wing in him. That the one, because the Hulk ripped off the other one, right? And that shit exploded. That was cool. That was probably the best scene out of the whole movie.
Absolutely. Dude, it ended on a high note.
Yeah.
Like, it was great. And I like the fact that he talked him down, because that's Cap.
I mean, it did kind of feel that like that Black Widow moment, you know, with Hulk in the woods, right? Yeah, it did feel a little bit like that, but not quite.
Right.
But you know, and then, oh my God, I am so happy that they did the telescopic lens on Harrison Ford when he de-hulked dude, because even from a distance that body looked cray.
Right.
It was like, I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, when he's talking him down, I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna turn back, and I'm like, are they really gonna show Harrison Ford with no shirt on? But to your point, they backed up enough with that side angle.
Damn.
Yes. But that fight was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
You know, and I like how they teased the whole cherry blossoms throughout.
Right.
Because when he called his daughter and was like, "Hey, I want to walk down," you know.
Right.
And then also at his wife's grave, there were some cherry blossoms there too. And then at this last fight, obviously it's lined with cherry blossoms, which kind of helped. It brought him back.
Oh, absolutely.
And I like little shit like that.
Exactly.
You know, it makes sense.
Yep.
And it is right up Cap's alley to talk someone down versus kill them. Right. Regardless of it's Ross. He's a guy that's caused a lot of headaches for the Avengers over the years. It's Red Hulk, who just destroyed half the White House. But still, that Captain America in him's like, dude, let me try to save him.
Right. Well, I think he was more like, let me try to save myself.
True.
Because that would have ended badly.
Yeah.
That would have been Sam Wilson would have been a smear on the ground.
Yep.
You know.
But I like that, dude. The wings inside them, they've absorbed all this power for the past whatever, to the point where they're almost like overloading at one point. I like that he ripped the wing off too, because of your whole thing about, you know, too much Falcon Cap. I like that he had to kind of be more Cap in this last fight.
Sure.
Because, I mean, dude, he's Falcon. He could have just flew way the fuck up in the air, shot him. Like, dude, he could have just kept his distance. But Red Hulk made sure that he couldn't do that.
Right.
And the other wing really acted as like a shield and more of a weapon than, you know, something for flight.
Yeah. I mean, him being like incredibly, you know, physically outmatched.
Yeah.
You know, he did well in this knife fight, because that's what it was. That was close quarters right there, dude.
And from a storytelling standpoint, I don't want to say we expected it, but it made sense because we saw his training with Isaiah, right? Like, no suit. Isaiah's got the super serum. Right. And he's got to try to maneuver around him and snatch these flags, where this guy has enhanced reflexes and all these things. So, like, dude, Sam Wilson's done some training. Oh, yeah, he's improved since he was Falcon.
Absolutely.
But yeah, all in all, dude, I really enjoyed this. If y'all are on the fence about seeing it, I recommend go watch it. Don't go into it with the tomato brain, like we almost did. Yeah. But dude, honestly, right as soon as it started, I'm like, dude, I'm liking this. Like, it's not a bad movie. Right. It was way better than I thought I would end up giving this like a 5, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I had no expectations of it. Like I said, I went in with my over analyzing and so on and so forth. and I think I allowed the hybridization of these two characters, both of which I like individually, to kind of cloud my, just my absorption of the movie. Yeah. But in the end, I mean, there are some good things. It definitely was not a bad movie. Definitely so much better than other movies. Yeah. So I also recommend it. But the other cool thing about it was, did you see in the credits, Anthony Mackie was the executive producer?
Oh, I did not see that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that just goes back to what we talked about, like with the actor really respecting comics,
Right.
loving what they do. It was, I mean, it's partly why the Deadpool movies are so great.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Reynolds executive produces these.
Right.
Like, it's part of him.
Exactly.
And I think we got to see that here. And dude, as an actor, I love Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he's getting this shine as the lead man, because I feel like they tried it. Remember that Netflix show, Altered Carbon?
Right.
It was very similar to this. They had the white dude play the character for the first season. We're going to now replace him, making the same character. We're going to throw Anthony Mackie in there. And I think he got a lot of unnecessary shit for that.
Right.
Like, well, he's not Joel Kim. Yeah, I know. It's not his fault. And what I like about this movie is you talked about that speech that he kind of gave Joaquin at the end. I feel like it was a little meta. Like, he was talking about the character, but I think he's also talking about the actor himself.
Absolutely.
And it was real. Like, because a lot of what he was saying was, I mean, us included kind of felt that way. Like, you're not Cap. This guy's Cap.
Right.
So you got to do a lot to make yourself Cap. And I think he did.
Yep.
I'm going to say this, Adrian. I will no longer refer to Sam Wilson as Captain Falcon.
I'm not saying I won't do it, but if I do, it won't be intentional.
Okay.
Moving forward.
I will, for now on, call my man Captain America. He deserves that. I think I think he earned that in this movie.
I agree.
And I want to see him back. I want
Yeah.
to see him leading the Avengers now.
Yeah. And that's another thing that they marketed a lot too.
Yes.
We need the Avengers, blah, blah. So I think they're going to make that happen.
Yeah.
So
Now, on that, who, as of right now, with the characters that we have in the MCU, if he were to start the Avengers right now, who the fuck would be in the Avengers? You got Falcon, right? You don't have Spider-Man.
No.
Because no one knows who he is anymore.
Exactly.
Doctor Strange, but he's off in incursions right now.
Right.
I mean,
Captain Marvel
possibly, yeah.
might come back. She's
Okay,
out
there's one.
because she's a galactic police.
Correct.
She's not just bound by Earth and stuff.
Yeah,
So
she's not gone.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, is Bruce Banner going to come back with his little bitch-ass Hulk he is now?
maybe T'Challa's sister.
Yeah, T'Challa's sister.
But even Black Panther, he was part of the Avengers. He's kind of like in and out,
Right.
So he had like,
but he wasn't a core
access,
member. He
exactly.
ain't going for lunch with y'all.
Exactly. He had an access card to the Avengers mansion.
Correct.
But he was probably. I mean, he's got a country to run.
Yep.
You know.
Bucky's like a congressman now. He's running for some
Right.
type of office. So it'll be interesting to see who. I mean, the Fantastic Four, they're not Avengers. They'll help. It's kind of like how the Guardians of the Galaxy worked with them, but I would not call them Avengers.
Right.
Well,
you got Kamala Khan and that troop. She's going around. Kate Bishop.
The Hawkeye.
The new Hawkeye. So hey, I mean, it's some potential.
Yeah.
And maybe that's an opportunity to bring out some of these other more unknowns.
Right.
Because there were different types of Avengers. There's different levels of
West
Avengers.
Coast Avengers,
West Coast,
Young Avengers.
Exactly.
And I think they're kind of going with that Young Avengers lineup. You got Kate Bishop. You got, Black Widow's sister, Yelena, could pop in, right? You could have a Black Widow in there. Ironheart, that's another one.
Yeah.
That's a show that's coming. I could see her, popping over. So
Sure.
Be interesting to see over the next, couple years before Doomsday drops. But and then the post-credit scene, did you stay around for this?
No, they making them further and further back, dude.
Bro,
so I'm like, all right, no, I'm not staying for this.
So what it was, Sam shows back up at the raft, and this time it was kind of like the scene at the end where he goes to talk to Ross.
Yeah.
Except now he's going to talk to the leader.
Okay.
And I forget exactly what Sam said to him. Basically, like, oh, you were wrong. Because remember, he bet, like, basically Red Hulk's going to kill you.
Right.
And then the whole dynamic, like, no, you're going to be wrong about that. Because he makes all these predictions. He's always right. Well, he was wrong. Red Hulk did not kill him. But he goes, no, you don't even understand. You think, basically, and I'm paraphrasing, he said something along the lines of, you guys would die for this world or whatever. You think you're the only world. You think the only one that would fight for this. The others are coming. Alluding to the incursions.
Right.
So, we reviewed Secret Wars, both of them, but in the second Secret Wars, it starts with these incursions where it's one Earth fighting another Earth. So we got superheroes fighting each other literally to basically have their universe survive, right?
Right.
So the leader somehow knows this is happening. So it just teases the incursions.
Okay.
So it was a nice little dialogue. And the last thing I'll say about this movie before we move on is I like that it set up a lot for the future of the MCU, but it did not feel like a trailer for other movies.
Got it.
Sometimes with MCU movies, we've been there where it's
Yeah.
like this movie literally was just created to, bring us to that other movie.
Right.
This was standalone. It had its own story that was great, but I feel like it does set up a lot of what's going to come subtly, which I liked. So,
do you think something like The Raft really exists?
shit, probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, dude. I would not be surprised. Well, there you have it. That is the Captain America: Brave New World review. This is the only review you need because we're not gonna be biased, right? We're not Marvel biased. We're not DC biased.
We were almost Rotten Tomato biased,
Almost.
but took care of that.
Yeah, because those fucking assholes. It's their fault. I don't even blame you, Adrian, for going into that way. It's Rotten Tomatoes' fault. They got to you. That tomato juice, bro. It got to you. So speaking of, it's funny you mentioned that.
That sounds naughty.
It does sound naughty. This movie was not naughty, though. It was actually really good. I recommend. And, dude, I mean, if I didn't have like 19 million things to watch and do and a job and all this shit, I probably would go see it again. It was good. I didn't go. My wife was actually with my daughter doing something, and I brought my son. So now my son, every movie is the greatest movie in the world, so it's kind of like a joke, but he actually really liked this. So,
Okay, cool.
Yes. So there you have it. The only review of Captain America: Brave New World you need. And I honestly do think people saying other shit, they're either saying it just for attention. Like this is my opinion. Let me know if you agree with this or not. I think online, on social media, and in general, it's almost become cool to hate on the MCU. It's a cool thing.
I can see that.
Right? Like, it's like edgy. Oh, let me tell you why this movie's so bad because it didn't. Bitch, shut the fuck up.
Right.
That's what you can do. You can shut what we call the fuck up.
Well, I mean, if you sit behind your computer anonymously, you can say anything you want,
Absolutely.
and that's typically what happens.
Correct.
Then when you get into that role, that mode of just ranting about random shit, then you're always gonna rant about random shit, whether it makes sense or not.
Right.
It's like the people that come in here, see what we're talking about. Oh, you guys don't need to have a show. Just move on.
Right.
Just move on.
Guess what? It's not for you. The show ain't for you. So this leads me to one of your favorite segments from the past, Adrian. What the fuck, Rotten Tomatoes? And I only have one movie on here this week, and it's Captain America: Brave New World. So this is how we're going to wrap up this talk. So the critics score for this movie, 50%. Now, I've explained to everyone on here how they get these scores. They source reviews, and they source critic reviews online. And of the critic reviews they sourced for this movie, 50% of them were negative reviews. Wow. So 50% of them were haters, I think, in my opinion. The audience score for this movie is 79%. So if you had to pick a score out of these two, 50, 79, which one's more accurate?
Audience.
All day, 79.
Dude.
And that's pretty close to, I think I gave it a 7.8. So I'm part of the audience. I agree with that score. Right. I think that is very appropriate for this movie. I think that if you can go into this with an open mind, if you can not compare it to anything that you've seen before, I think you'd highly enjoy this movie. Right. I really do. Yep. And I think that some of the same people that had issues with the halftime show or say things like Miles could never beat Peter because Peter's white. Or maybe they don't say that last part. But
right.
I think some of that, because I heard it is this woke movie. It didn't feel woke to me. Did it feel woke to you, Adrian?
Nah. It felt like a good movie.
It did. Yep, absolutely. And I think if you have a problem seeing a black male in a lead role, you got some other issues going on. It ain't the fucking movie.
Yeah. You might want to move to Mars now, dude.
Exactly.
It's more is coming.
Absolutely. Because, dude, I could have seen Chris Evans play Captain America with a very similar script, and no one had an issue with that.
Right.
It wasn't. My point is, he nailed the role. It was a well-written movie. My only critique really is the leader, how fucking ridiculous he looked.
Right.
Outside of that, I was good. So, moving on, Adrian. You mentioned this a little bit earlier. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Yep. So we got 2 episodes left. I think there was 3 more that dropped this past week.
Yeah.
There's been so many episodes. It's kind of like a blur to me. But I will say that I am enjoying this show.
Right.
It's fun. It's different, but it does feel, we talked about this last week with the whole race swapping thing. It's not offensive. It's almost like you said, well, once you get past that, it's a pretty damn good show.
Right. It's a Spider-Man movie show.
Dude, it feels so much like Spider-Man, right? I like the little dynamic between Harry and Nico.
Yeah.
You know, like they're becoming friends kind of because of Peter, even though they're so different.
Right.
There's a lot of lessons in that in general. Like that's the thing about Spider-Man comics. Like there's a lot more than just the action of Spider-Man. There's a lot of life lessons in that shit. Like you got a kid who's silver spoon pretty much, Harry Osborn. Nico, complete opposite. They're not supposed to be friends, right? They're and you realize that when they're forced to be around each other, it's kind of like, you're actually pretty cool. Right. Which I think would happen with most people.
Well, most people that that open themselves up to, to receive the other person. Yes.
Yep. But couple things that stood out to me over these last few episodes. I mean, the duel with the devil, the whole Daredevil fight. Yeah. I love that Charlie Cox reprised, like, it's the same guy who plays Daredevil voicing him. That was great. Yeah. Dude, how awesome was that little fight, though?
That was cool. That was cool. It goes to show, like, Spider-Man has power. Yeah. But Daredevil doesn't have super strength or super speed. Right. I mean, his ability and agility is on par with like an Olympic level athlete because of training. But he just didn't wake up one day with that particular power. Right. I mean, he did wake up with the radar sense, minus being able to see. Yep. But he used that to his complete advantage. And the really cool part about that whole fight was when he threw the stick. And Spider-Man dodged it, but he didn't realize he wasn't trying to hit him.
Right, it bounced.
It did which is classic Daredevil. Yes. In the comics. He used basically ricocheting to take down his opponent, and that's what he did with Spider-Man.
Yeah, absolutely. We see what's his name, Tombstone, kind of fall more into this criminal life. He kind of gets in the way when what's his name, Big Don or whatever, is about to get stabbed. Right. So now they almost like owe him some, right? And he's being torn between his girlfriend and his kind of his past life. We see Scorpion. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was, but after the Scorpion attack, and like his girl said, hey, they're dispersed. You don't need to go back. Right. But he just felt some need to go back. Yeah. That's one of those things where you got this calling. You've always had this calling, but you did this other thing, which you were good at. Right. Right. But you really always wanted to do this other thing in the first place. Correct. So it's like, what was it that movie where the cop went undercover? Who was Lawrence Fishburne? No, Lawrence Fishburne. Way back. Okay. Lawrence Fishburne went into this neighborhood to play this drug dealer. Yeah. And he got so into the role that he actually became so successful. He became this drug dealer. And then I think at the end he quit the force because he was like, you guys look at me as a cop playing a drug dealer, but I've always been a drug dealer playing a cop. Right. So that it's kind of like one of those things.
Same thing. That reminds me of Training Day. Very similar, right? Right. This dude's a cop. I mean, at some point he was a cop.
Now he was just a dirty cop, though. Yeah. He wasn't, this gangster. He was just this dirty cop that had access.
But I think the more he went on, the more he became the criminal, and the cop was just an act. Like complete. At the end, the cop was literally nothing to him. It was just, I'm this, criminal. But yeah, I like the slow burn with Tombstone. And then we see the fight with Scorpion. Spider-Man thinks he's got them all wrapped up. Right. And we kind of see Norman's true colors here a little bit because as soon as he found out he was done, he's like, all right, cool, let me go find Octavius. Right. And like basically fuck Spider-Man. And we realize he wasn't done. And then Spider-Man, as you mentioned earlier, kind of gets his ass whooped here.
Right. Well, I don't think well, you can kind of feel Osborn's true colors throughout the process, right? He obviously has an agenda outside of, and he's basically, in his agenda is really weaponizing Spider-Man, which is what he's trying to do because he's trying to sell him to Ross, right? Yep. So he just thought, he was dismissive about an event because he thought Spider-Man was done. So he moved his attention from the fight to what's his face? Octavius. Yep. And then when he gets the alarm, then his attention is back. But he also had a contingency because if he wouldn't have sent that flying platform, Scorpion would have took Peter out, dude.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that flying platform is probably going to lead to a little Green Goblin at some point. So, I mean, this thing is shaped. Like, I'm interested to see where these next 2 episodes are going to go.
Right.
Like, are we going to see a Green Goblin full? Maybe. Are we going to see? Because so far we've seen Octavius, we've not seen Doc Ock though. We've not seen the legs and shit, which I'm assuming he has if he's making all his tech for everybody else.
Well, remember, I don't know if you saw the episode, but the cops found him. Osborn, I guess, directed the cops to his lab.
Yeah.
And then when he went in there, and Osborn was like, it was one of those moments where you put on the music and he's just kind of dancing around everything because he pressed a button and all these arms are coming out of the ceiling, out of the walls, and they're attacking the cops and dragging them out of the way. So he has them. He just haven't built the mobile platform yet.
Or unless he did, we just haven't seen it yet.
Right.
It could be in one of these next 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Right.
Just like Osborn built, the flying whatever that thing.
Yep.
I almost said Batwing, but
pretty much
his flying platform, but it's not used the way that we're used to seeing it being used.
And then Norman's take on why he lost the Scorpion was Peter's holding back,
right?
Just kind of trying to push him to do a little more.
Yeah, because he's trying to sell him to Ross.
Correct.
He's trying to sell this platform that he's maturing.
Actually, we see them at some dinner, right? Where he's like, "Hey, look what I got," type shit.
Right. But you see the other side where he shows Spider-Man, but he shows the security guard with his name.
Yes.
Right? As if this security guard is Spider-Man.
Correct. So he's helping Peter hide his identity. Right. So it's a very interesting take on Norman.
Yeah.
Because, which I think we see sometimes in the comics. Right? He's not it's just the Goblin persona that sends him over the edge. Norman himself kind of walks the line.
Correct.
I wouldn't call him a hero. I wouldn't say he's a flat out villain.
Right.
He's a narcissist.
Right.
He's only looking out for himself for the most part. You could argue he's using Peter here.
Oh, absolutely.
But also helping him a little bit. Right. It's kind of like if I use you to get what I want, you benefit a little bit too.
Right.
Type relationship.
Yep. Yeah, Norman definitely walks the line. His son, he goes over the line. At least. Well, we'll see how that shapes up.
Correct.
Because they're best buds right now.
Yeah.
So, but they were also best buds in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man too.
True. Yep.
So, and then
we saw how that turned out.
We saw how that turned out.
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes.
And then of course we get the great power comes great respect line. We get it from Norman this time.
I was like, are they going to change that too?
Right.
It's not great respect. It's great responsibility.
Correct.
So they kind of changed.
They did a little bit. Yep. And then we see that, they're working on this blue and red suit. So I think we're going to see that debut in the next episode. So that'd be cool. I like the build to that. We haven't seen it yet, but I think it needs to.
Well, you saw it in the reflection in Peter's glasses. Yep. So he was excited.
Yeah, he was. Well, because we saw the design in his notebook earlier.
Right.
And then, you got a whole storyline with Nico being upset that Peter kind of kept this from her. And then you kind of see Harry almost consoling her a little bit. Like, dude, the only reason I knew is like, I just walked into it. Like, don't think he was sharing this with me and not you intentionally. He didn't want to share it with anyone.
Right. And then you got the Penny dynamic.
Yep.
So it's almost like, Peter and Nico know that they like each other, but they don't want to cross that thing. But also Peter's kind of naive with Nico.
Yes.
So Harry's moving in on that.
Yo.
And then things are changing for Penny and fucking Gravedigger or whatever his name
Pearl,
is.
You mean?
Pearl.
Yeah, Tombstone. Yeah, that's right. Because that's who Peter originally liked.
Right.
Yep.
Like his whole entire life. So now, she sees him funny, blah, 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 blah. So maybe that'll end up being something.
Yeah.
Dude,
all in all, I'm liking this so far.
Yeah.
It's we've gotten, I guess, a couple or a handful of good animations, and if you go back to X-Men '97, phenomenal.
Yep.
Cape Crusader was decent, right? Creature Commandos is a lot better than I expected,
right?
And then this one, so far it's been that. I think that's the biggest difference between this and Creature Commandos is I don't think there's been a bad episode yet.
Right.
There's not been a filler type like, hey, why'd they give this to us? Like we felt at one point in that show. And even as great as the Penguin was, there was an episode like, dude, really? That could have just been like part of another episode.
Sure.
And then in Agatha, they did it to us a handful of times. It's like the end too. It's like, why give us this extra episode at the end? Just fucking end it at the ending.
That's it.
But I'm looking forward to these next two. Dude.
Yeah.
This show, This is funny because we talked about, I think towards the end of last year, everything that was on the horizon and the plans from a comic book standpoint this year. And we talked about what we were looking forward to the most. And I don't think either one of us had this on our list.
Definitely didn't.
It was definitely at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so far,
actually wasn't even on the radar because I didn't really know these shows was coming out.
Yeah.
So
I had no interest in this. I heard about this, and that's why I barely talked about it. I'm like, I just was like, what? But now I'm like, dude, this is great. Give me some more seasons.
Right.
Keep this shit going.
That's right.
And maybe eventually, could we see this Peter cross over into the Spider-Verse?
Right.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, it opened up with Strange coming in from another universe.
And him getting bit by a spider from another universe.
From another universe. I'm still thinking, I don't know, it's so close. They keep talking about the Sokovia Accords, and then the Avengers, the fight. It's like 616.
It is. What I think it is, I think it's another Earth, like whatever, 612 maybe. But I think where just about everything's the same, except for a few small things.
So nuances.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's when you have this multiverse of endless universes, that's going to happen, right? Like you're going to have some universes where Peter Parker looks the same. You're going to have some where he doesn't. You're going to have some where Iron Man's his mentor, and this one it was Norman instead.
Right.
But you're right, it does include a lot of the MCU stuff, which I think is cool. Yeah. I like that because you know what they're talking about because you know the MCU, but this is obviously not Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Right.
You know, so yeah, I'm looking forward to these next 2 episodes. Those drop on the 19th, so we'll be reviewing those next week. Now, Adrian, we're getting into the part of the show where we do a little We Respond, okay?
Let's do it.
So we launched the Legion of Interns a couple weeks ago. So a couple dozen people on that already.
Nice.
So thank you all that signed up for that. If you don't know how to sign up for that, there is a if you go to the Only Comics YouTube channel, there's a join button right where we display some of our top members. In the description to this podcast, the join button's there as well. Or just drop a comment and I'll send you the link, which I had to do with a lot of people because YouTube doesn't. It's funny, they give you the ability to use memberships, but they obviously put the join button where nobody can fucking find it because everyone's asking me in the comments. So thank you, YouTube. Anyways, but also I wanted to shout out one of our commenters here, Legion of Intern. Actually, I don't know if Jon Bon joined yet, but he left this comment last week, and we do this show. We started this selfishly for ourselves, right?
Sure.
And we've built a nice little community here. A lot of great people comment every single week, and it's become a pretty cool squad. We call them the Legion of Interns, which they self-proclaimed. And real life does happen though, and we have I think a lot of people look at this as almost an escape. Right? People always talk about how I'm at work, my job sucks, my boss is an ass, but listening to you guys helps me get through the day. So I wanted to read this and actually dedicate this segment to my man Jon Bon. So he says, "Hey guys, sorry I wasn't here last week to comment. I had to drive from Virginia to Texas because my mother passed away suddenly. So finally I got to watch last week's episode. Loved it. You guys are awesome. Look forward to the next episode. Love you guys." Well, we love you too, Jon Bon, and we're extremely sorry. I send my deepest condolences to you. I'm losing your mother. That's horrible. So definitely apologize. We're sorry to hear that. And hopefully this show can cheer you up a little bit.
That's right.
So moving on. We got Captain Canada. He's a Legion of Intern, or he's an intern. "What's up, guys? Love the episode. Legion of Interns, let's go. Yes. I also think Denzel should not be Magneto. Please don't. He could be too old to play Bishop, I think. You mentioned he would be a good Bishop, right?
I don't remember what I said about that. I said he could play Bishop if he's going to play somebody.
Correct.
But definitely not Magneto.
Definitely not Magneto. Denzel could definitely pull off Bishop. I would prefer someone a little younger. He says,
dude, at this point, that might make him an old Sabretooth. Who knows?
Oh, God, an old Sabretooth. Be better than Magneto?
Yeah.
He says, "New segment idea. Shut the fuck up." Yes. I like that new segment idea. What are your thoughts on a fight between Nightcrawler and Quicksilver?
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
We might have to do that one next week.
Yeah, let me think about that one, boy.
I mean, my gut wants to say Nightcrawler, but Quicksilver is pretty badass too, dude. So, you know what? I think if you ask me right now, because you did, I'd say Nightcrawler, but we'll dig into that. That might be our verses next week, unless we got a better one. Smallville is my favorite DC show, the show that started the CW shows. And yes, 100%, Michael is the best on-screen Lex Luthor. You said this last week. And Tom Welling should have been Superman in the film.
I absolutely agree.
That's what you said, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, good job, Captain Canada. A. Josh Strickland, he's an intern, bald beard gang represent. Yes, we had a whole crew out there. Hearing you guys talk about Fantastic Four has got me so stoked for the movie. I've mainly stayed in Batman and X-Men lanes, okay? I think where Liefeld loses a lot of people is because he's a whiny little bitch, yes, about things. Deadpool Wolverine is only the most recent of many. He stole the Deadpool design from Deathstroke. That's true.
Right.
He only knows how to draw one face. Butthurt is exactly what he expressed, yes. Have you guys seen his hilariously bad Captain America? Have you ever seen this?
No.
Dude, he draws the chest. It comes out like here, like, remember the old Tomb Raider game where Lara Croft had those like fucking pyramid boobs? Right, yeah. It looks like some shit like that. Like it's the most unproportioned, ridiculous. Yeah, so you would definitely appreciate it. He says it gets worse the longer you look at it. Yeah, that is true. As a huge Colossus fan, I would have to tip the scale to the Thing. Colossus especially recently has adopted more of a passive nature, and that's what I think would give Ben the edge. We talked about Colossus versus Thing last week. If he was still the unstoppable Colossus, it'd be no contest, but he's not. Final thing, do you have any Fantastic Four recommended readings? So I've not read a lot of Fantastic Four. You got any that stand out to you that...
I'm partial to anything back like 80s and 90s. Obviously, that's hard to get a hold to.
Right.
Probably get the app or something.
Get the app. We'll promote it. They don't give a shit, but yeah.
Nothing stands out, but anything that involves the birth of Franklin. Yeah. Anything that involves the negative zone and the nihilist, because the nihilist is like maybe like a Doom or not Doom, but like a dark side in the negative zone. Anything that involves Galactus. I mean, I'm talking about early stuff.
Yeah.
It's just so much, dude. It's so dynamic. So I would go with the era, not a particular comic.
So what era? 80s, 90s?
Yeah. 80s, 90s.
Okay. I would say Jonathan Hickman is a writer. He wrote Secret Wars, the 2015 version. But he did a lot leading up to that with the Infinity story, with the New Avengers. But he also did he had a run on the Fantastic Four. And a lot of what he wrote there kind of build towards Secret Wars. So this is probably the most I am familiar with, the Fantastic. You're more a Fantastic Four guy than me.
Yeah.
But I'd echo what you say, the early stuff, but I'd also, if you're looking for some newer stuff, look at Jonathan Hickman's run on Fantastic Four and read that leading up to Secret Wars. I think you'd be, I think you'd like that. So there's that. Jay Shot It says, Mike and Adrian, another Monday, another great show, and shout out on the show. Well, here you got another one. Thunderbolts trailer definitely looked good. I'm loving the Fantastic Four one. My question for you guys this week is, what specific character team do each of you collect comics of the most? Mine is Spider-Man's first run. So mine is Batman. I have more Batman comics than anything, dude. I have the big editions, the small one, anything Batman. I love comics, but from a collection standpoint, Batman predominantly. If you had to, who do you think you have more comics of, a character or team? I feel like
I'm actually checking my app here as we speak here. Let me see. Iron Man.
That's what my guess was going to be.
Yeah. So I got like 100 Iron Man.
Shit.
Then comes Fantastic Four. Somehow I got Gru the Wanderer, which actually ties the Fantastic Four. Then after that is X-Men, Thor, Superman, Hulk. Actually, it's different because they got like different types of volumes.
Yeah.
So it's mixed up. But I would say the top three: Iron Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men.
Got it.
Let me see. Got quite a bit of Superman too.
Okay.
But definitely I'm seeing X-Men in here a lot. Ooh, I got Secret Wars too.
There you go.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, shit you didn't even know you had.
Right?
Mine, Batman number one. Number two would probably, I'd say X-Men stuff, most likely. Yeah, Batman, X-Men would be my top two. So Really, BT Dubs says, he's also an intern. He says, more on the Star Wars stuff. Why the fuck can they not give us Vader year 1 or year 2? Yes. He's loved by everyone. He's the greatest villain ever, and they won't give him a show or movie. They give us the Acolyte. Who the fuck wanted that shit? Bad Batch, Skeleton Crew. Like, give me Vader shit or Jango Fett when he took over Mandalore, Old Republic shit. But, I mean, dude, he's 100% right.
Right.
Who the fuck is the Acolyte?
Right.
You got Darth Vader. This is like we were talking about, tiers of characters.
Right.
People that have no idea about Star Wars knows who Darth Vader is.
Exactly. Darth Vader is Superman.
Yeah.
As far as the level.
Badass.
Yep.
The best we've ever seen him was in Rogue One at the end of the movie when he boards the ship and fucking takes everybody out. Dude, he's a menace.
Yeah.
We can't get a show about him, but we get a Boba Fett show where it sucks so bad they have to bring in the Mandalorian at the end.
Wow.
And bring in a Baby Yoda just so everybody can laugh and forget about how shitty the show was. Like, come on. Dude, the Bad Batch, the Skeleton Crew. Fuck that. I agree, Relly. Give me some Darth Vader shit.
Yeah.
Sons of Sekmad, another intern, says, nice job, Adrian, on the Heralds of Galactus. That was a good hidden gem last week. Those are some of my favorite characters. I've always liked cosmic level stories. Annihilation was a great one. So, you know me, I typically gravitate towards the grounded stories.
Sure.
That's why I have so much Batman. And my Batman is not like Batman in space, Batman fighting Dracula. I have like the Long Halloween, year one, like the crime.
The street fights.
The street, shit. Absolutely. But you like cosmic level shit.
Dude, I love cosmic level shit.
Like, I mean, like when we read Secret Wars, both of those are right up your alley, right?
I mean, the farther you can expand your mind, and I'm not saying that any of this shit is real, but it just allows you to think about, because, I mean, I know people that haven't even left our county, right? But then when you think about the world, you think about space in general. You think about our galaxy. You think about our universe. You think about being able to slide between those.
Yep.
You think about the limitless possibilities. When your frame of mind is like that, dude, to you nothing is impossible.
Correct.
Nothing is impossible. But then you have people that are their minds, they think so little. It's like, oh, I got a splinter. My life is over with. Drugs, blah, blah. It's just weird to me that, you can't think outside of a specific boundary. And now after reading comics for so long, my mind has no boundaries. Now, that makes me question a lot of shit. Right. And it definitely goes against, deities and things like that. But
say Diddy?
Maybe,
You say Diddy?
I did not say Diddy.
Oh, deities.
Deities, yes.
Yes, okay, all right.
It makes me think that, like, take God, right? This is the other stuff. Maybe it's not that I don't believe in God, perhaps, but maybe your Jesus level God is a little smaller than what's actually exists. You know what I'm saying?
I buy that. Yep, absolutely. King Hicks says, what's up, Mike and Adrian? You guys made me really get into comics. Look at that.
Nice.
My question is, where should I start in reading comics for the MCU? Is there a certain order or great content? So I would say, now, I think what you're asking, like, if you like the MCU, what should you read? We just read Avengers Disassembled through House of M. I would start with that. There's a lot of beats from that we see in the MCU, right? There's that. I would also say Civil War, the comic. It's probably better than the movie itself. And then Secret Wars. I would go down that route.
I almost want to say just pick up anything about the person that you think you would gravitate toward. But then again, if you don't know the characters, like you could say, well, Dr. Doom is my favorite character. Well, I've been reading them for 40 years. Or Iron Man or the X-Men or Fantastic Four or whatever. I would definitely pick up a team's magazine, like a group, like the Avengers, the X-Men, because those will break down individual characters, and then you can follow that character if you want, or you can stay at the team level.
Correct.
And then the X-Men, the X-Men is about not only it's less grounded stuff like a Daredevil or a Batman.
Right.
It's mostly world stuff and intergalactic and multidimensional.
Yep.
The Fantastic Four is definitely multidimensional, intergalactic. Yep. The Avengers can be either. So I would pick a group. Mm-hmm. I would read all the groups. Let's say the top ones: Fantastic Four, Avengers, X-Men, and then the Justice League, right?
Right.
And then from those, you got probably 50 characters. You can then drill down into the character that you want, and then go back as far as you need to get as much information about that character, and then read up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I would say kind of in line with what you're saying, look at some of these events, because if you like the MCU, it is based on individual stories that lead up into big events. Mm-hmm. You have the original Secret Wars. You have the House of M and the Avengers Disassembled we talked about. You have Civil War. You have X-Men versus Avengers, where
you have the Flashpoint paradox.
From a DC standpoint.
Right? You have the Infinity Crisis.
Yep. You have even the Infinity War story. Like there's all these things where I would lean towards those, because you're going to get bits and pieces of all the characters. Yeah,
same thing. So instead of looking at groups, you're looking at events.
Yeah,
right.
But it features most of these groups.
Exactly.
And then from there, I think you could dig into, hey, the ones you like the most. Because one thing I'll say Marvel does a really good job of when they do these events, the characters they pull in, they remain true to who those characters are in their own comics.
Right.
And if you've read their own comics, it actually makes the events even better. Mm-hmm. And if you're looking for something more recent, Devil's Reign is a great one from a Daredevil, Spider-Man, Fisk type standpoint. Mm-hmm. The Defenders are in there, the Avengers, I think Fantastic Four. It's so I would focus on those events, and as much here I am promoting shit again, I would get the Marvel app, because there's a lot of reading guides in there, King Hicks, that will actually answer a lot of these questions for you.
Yep.
DJ Super Soldier, he asked about joining other stuff, and he did. So he's from England, by the way. So thank you for joining the interns. Question 2 was versus Daredevil versus Winter Soldier. That would be a good one. Daredevil, Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Yeah, we're gonna add that one to the list. So we got 2. Bro Man Williams, dude, he's back. What's up, Mike and Adrian? I'm low key. I'm fucking with the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, bro. Now he was giving a lot of shit last week, if you remember. He goes, "You are right. Once you get past the race swap, it's actually pretty good." Yes, yes. And then he did say that by the time you read this, I will be a member of the Legion of Interns. He did join, so thanks for joining, bro, man. He said, "I can't be the king of the comment section if I'm not there." That's absolutely right, because there's actually, I'm going to say this right now. On other stuff, we're going to we respond to other stuff. Because Captain Canada brought up a good point. He's like, dude, we're commenting on both shows. Mm-hmm. Shout us out on both. So my bad, dude. I fucked that up, So this week, on other stuff, that drops Wednesdays at 5:30. Mm-hmm. And that is all massive $4.99 a month. That price will not change. That will stay the same. Brandon Jones says, feels good to be a certified intern. Yes, thanks for joining. Question for Adrian. Any good Blade comic recommendations? You ever read any Blade comics?
No, just the movies.
Yeah, I've not seen either the comics or the movies. He says from a versus, I think Vision versus Martian Manhunter would be great. All Vision got to do is fucking light a match, dude. He's done. Right. But no, I mean, it probably would be a good fight, right?
Martian Manhunter has a lot of power.
Yeah.
Dude. A lot of power. He's got the strength. I mean, he's almost at Superman level with the strength.
Yeah.
He can become intangible like the Vision. He can turn into all kinds of shit.
True.
The Vision, he can change his mass. He can turn intangible. He can fly, and then he has the beam out of his that
stone.
That stone.
Yeah.
I think he can interact with computers.
Yep. He's got some super strength.
Right. I would give it off the cuff without research. I would give it to Manhunter.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth a look into.
All right, we'll add that one to the list. He says that, holy smokes, the Void in the Thunderbolts trailer. So you do see the Void in the trailer. And he says, I'm excited for that movie more than Fantastic Four and Superman. So, wow. Thunderbolts. Marvel's back on it, dude. Cold Fire 22. For me, the Fantastic Four trailer got me excited and wanting more. I agree. The Superman trailer was the complete opposite. I didn't think it looked interesting at all. In fact, the cartoonish Crypto pretty much made me decide I'll probably wait for this to come out on stream.
Dude, I am so, just off the rip, I am so disappointed in that Crypto. I mean, I've had a terrier before, and this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's like this little dog like this, right? Crypto is like a Labrador, I think, or something like that. He's that kind of looking dog.
Yeah, he's a bigger dog.
Definitely not some little wild-haired little yapathon dog.
So Coldfire, Adrian agrees with you, Coldfire. I'm here for it. I really don't care what Crypto looks
I'm not gonna not watch it.
Yeah, you're not gonna boycott it because of it. Yeah. Bullseye Bubba says, Bullseye, are you a good shot, Bullseye? You don't be calling yourself, maybe he likes the sauce, Bullseye sauce.
There you go.
What's up, Mike and Adrian? My friend August got me into y'all podcast due to the fact I was mainly into DC Comics. Dude, what the fuck? They're called Batman Comics. We should rename DC Comics to Batman Comics. I'm petitioning that.
Hold on. So, but it's interesting what he's saying.
Yep.
I think he and probably other people think that we are so Marvel biased that we don't touch DC at all.
Right.
So
no, we like DC.
Yeah, we like DC.
He said he educated me on Marvel. So his buddy August was like, dude, he was DC biased. And he's like, bro, check out Marvel.
Right.
He says, I'm a huge Superman fan, Batman #2. All right, you got that backwards, but that's okay. I won't judge you for that. I went back and listened to y'all old shows, and you guys are entertaining when you're a truck driver. Thanks to another working class member right
Love
here.
them, man.
Good job, Bullseye. Thank you for keeping me awake on them early mornings. Absolutely. Adrian, favorite part is hidden gems. There you go, Adrian.
Nice.
Oh, and that's coming up next, by the way.
Up next.
Oh, and a huge DC fan. And yes, Superman. Yes, Scarlet Witch beats Superman. See, even he understands this. And just starting Marvel Rivals. Thank you for the comic recommendation. Started Secret Wars and enjoying it. So we're not experts, Adrian, but we do know what the fuck we're talking about. Okay. So yeah, man, good job, Bullseye. OG Dirte on Spotify says, I feel like we've heard him on other platforms. OG Dirte. I'm not gonna forget a name like that.
Yeah, right.
Mike, Adrian, what's up? I just came from watching Captain America: Brave New World. In my opinion, it wasn't as bad as the haters were saying. Yes. I would say it was mid, if that makes sense. Yeah, I would say it's better than mid, though. I would definitely say better than mid. To me, it felt like a Captain America movie.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But hey, what do I know? You know what? You know a lot, OG. The fight with Red Hulk was believable.
Yeah.
They did a good job of making that believable. Because, dude, you were like on edge, like, yo, he's going to kill this motherfucker. like, Sam, figure something out, bro. Right. Shit. And I like that it was one-on-one.
Yeah.
I like that it wasn't like a big team. Like, we've seen this in like stupid movies like Thor: Love and Thunder. He's got all the Asgardian kids helping him out. Like, it's come on, nonsense. Bro, you want to see, like, you're going to see a Thor movie. I want to see it end with Thor fucking shit up.
Right.
Not him playing Mr. Nanny, but that's a whole nother thing. Post-credit scenes got me wondering what's next. Well, I can tell you what's next, dude. Incursions and Secret Wars. I promise you. He has a theory for the Fantastic Four villain. I know Mole Man is rumored, but if it's Red Ghost in the Fantastic Four trailer, I don't know. Red Ghost. You know what Red Ghost is?
I've heard the name. I can't picture him right now.
Well, hey, if you're right, OG, we will shout you out. If you're not, we will make fun of you. Dean 084, another great show. Keep them coming. Every week, bro. Every week. Thought I'd wait to comment after I seen Captain America. Film was okay. A mid-table MCU film had some really good action scenes. Don't think Anthony Mackie's Cap is a lead role character. I disagree with you on that wholeheartedly. Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross was great. Yes. Red Hulk was a fucking beast. Yes. The one thing I didn't like was the leader. Oh, you're right about that. He looked more like DC's Brainiac with a hangover.
Wow.
That was good. Memo Garcia, hey guys, love the show. If you guys were Galactus, who would you pick to be your Herald? I would go with Beta Ray Bill, he says. Oh, I'd pick Norman Rad, the OG Silver Surfer, if I'm Galactus. Who you picking?
I go with Terrax.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't know who that is, go back to
Wait
last
a minute.
week.
Oh, can we choose anybody or just any previous Herald?
Was Beta Ray Bill a Herald?
No.
Okay, so I guess anybody.
Oh, okay. Anybody for my Herald?
Sidewinder.
I probably do Binary.
Okay.
Carol Danvers, superpowered.
Yep, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would just stick with Silver Surfer, man.
Yeah.
The OG one. OZ Comics, I really don't agree with this take on... Oh, these are TikTok comments, by the way, so brace yourself. I really don't agree with this take on Liefeld. The man created a character that Disney Marvel had made millions on. He does deserve respect from these people. The writers and creators of comic characters always get shunted or kicked to the side, except this time they made it known public and blah, 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 blah. Dude, here's the thing. Respect is one thing. Mm-hmm. I don't think just because he created this character, and I like what someone said earlier, you just copied Deathstroke. Like, let's everybody calm down. Right. It is cool. I'm not like Deadpool's cool character, but you didn't you didn't reinvent the fucking wheel here. And that's like the only character you really created: Cable, Deadpool, and Domino. Gotcha.
Well, I mean, yeah, he might have started out by copying Deathstroke.
Yep.
But Deadpool is a uniquely different, because Deathstroke is basically just an assassin.
Correct.
He's like the Punisher, right?
Yep.
Deadpool is funny. He's immortal. He's ugly as fuck.
The only thing he really took was the look.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, he did make a different character.
Sure.
I mean, it's like Ford copied, Chevy or some shit, or vice versa.
Yep.
They still made cars,
right?
But they uniquely different.
But that doesn't mean you should get top billing. Like, my man wants his name, like, in the beginning of the movie credits. Like, he wants credit for the movie because he created the character, is how I look at it.
Nah.
You got paid, bro.
And then he make it for somebody else?
Yeah. And you got paid, dude. And your name was credited. Like, so I don't think that's a lack of respect to take a character you created, a couple decades ago on paper. We brought it to screen. Ryan Reynolds helped embody this character. We did all this with a character you created for us that we paid you for.
Right.
I don't need to sit here and parade you as like the world's best comic creator the whole time.
Right.
They don't give Stan Lee credit on all these movies in the beginning.
No.
We still know he created most of them.
Yep.
We don't have to put the name like Spider-Man brought to you by Stan Lee. No, OZ Comics, you should delete your TikTok account. Flav White 23. Comic conversations to me are better than real life talk. Yes, explaining fiction and talking about bills are different, and I'll take comics all day. Love hearing experts break down stuff. Well, we're not experts. We are only fans.
Not only fans, but you also should pay your bills.
Yes, we're just fans. You should pay them, but we shouldn't have to tell you that. Adrian with the hood stories, I can relate, my boys, when you're talking about the powdered milk last week.
Oh, yeah.
Sean something says, that's the same thing Zack Snyder said about Lex. Hey, Sean, who the fuck cares? We're talking about Nicholas Holt's take on Lex, how Superman, or how Lex Luthor was right. Well, it's not that he said it. It's what the character Lex Luthor has always said, right? It's not new.
No.
Is that not how he is in the comics?
Well, I don't know if I've ever read him saying it, but I can definitely see him having that perspective.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But that's kind of been his mission, the whole, like, dude, we ain't letting this, like, guy just slide because he's got ultimate power. We should have some, something set up to offset this. Right.
I mean, you should, at the very least, have caution when it comes to Superman.
Right.
Fear him at best, and then, but definitely have some precaution or have something set up to defend yourself.
Correct.
Because how many times has Superman have been, possessed, fucking flower took him over.
Right.
I mean, he decides to go on trips and just leave everybody stranded for years at a time.
Right.
I mean, he's got his own agenda when he has his own agenda, and that's Luthor's point.
Yep.
He can decide, I just want to take over this whole planet for myself.
Right.
And what's to stop him? Exactly. Other than Batman.
Yep. Yeah. There's always Batman. We were talking about the tiers of characters in like Fantastic Four. Most people would not recognize them like they would Superman or Spider-Man, right? So Dino Slater here, he said, I tested the tier theory for you with some solid evidence. I asked my grandma if she heard of the Fantastic Four. She said, do you mean the Beatles? See, we know what we're talking about here, dude. Jax Jonker says, Superman looks terrible. I'd rather watch Batman vs. Superman. Okay, dude. Like, then fucking go watch Batman vs. Superman. I love people, well, I'd rather watch it. Then watch that. You want them to what? Remake Superman and make it look just like the Zack Snyder one? Just do the same thing? Anyways.
Wait, are you talking about the new movie?
Yeah.
I don't like the Superman either. I mean, he just looks weird. Like, especially that street scene. He's like Carrot Top, all this hair on top of his head. It's just a weird look, dude. I mean, he definitely got the cloak and dagger Clark Kent shit down.
Right.
Because no one would ever expect that to be Superman.
Damn. All right. Well, that is We Respond. How do you get on We Respond? I don't know. You say something good. You say something stupid. You make me laugh. You piss me off. There's really no rules to it, dude.
Right.
But we are going to get into Hidden Gem right now, Adrian.
Let's do it.
You laid one out last week. It was a bunch of Galactus's heralds. Mm-hmm. So you never know what you're going to get with Hidden Gem. What do we got going on this week?
All right. So this week, this is kind of a strange one, right? So I laid out. It's basically a virus, right? It goes by a couple of names and there's different versions of it, but I'm going to stick like to the mainstream one. Some people call it the Technovore, but that's more of an Iron Man thing. But this is a techno-organic virus. It's like in the X-Men, right? If you ever seen a character where it's like all black and bunch of teeth and they always trying to take over everything, that's the techno-organic virus. So how this thing came around and what it does is this. It's like, I don't know if you ever seen Star Trek, the Borg, but its job is to basically take over everything. It's probably, so let me step back. The virus is a tool, right? It's just like a Trojan in a computer, right? Yeah. And it has somebody that wrote the virus. And then somebody created the virus. So the Titans, which is like this disembodied consciousness back eons ago, and that's why I like comics, because it allows you, when you say eons and these beings that have been around for millions and billions of years, it's like, oh, okay. But, if you never left your county, you'd be like, oh, that's impossible. I can't think about, that kind of thing and blah, blah, blah. So the Titans, disembodied conscious, they created something called the phalanx. And the phalanx is basically, they are cybernetic organisms that their goal is to go out and conquer other worlds. And they have probably conquered thousands or tens of thousands of worlds. And what they do is they go out and they form this group called the Technocracy. Yeah. And this group, so you got the Titans creating the Phalanx. The Phalanx are basically, if you want to think about zombies, they're kind of like the zombies. Okay. But I think the zombies can do shit. They can create things. So they create this virus called the techno-organic virus. So the techno-organic virus, it goes out, it finds things, either technology or flesh. It attaches to it, it infects it, and it begins to take over. And if you want to think about nanobots or nanites or micro machines, however you want to think about it, it's like that. And it'll take over, like, for example, if I had it and I touched you, the virus would get into you and it would take over every cell in your body. And every cell is a computer, and in that computer contains the virus and everything about you. So even if I took a skin cell from you and destroyed the rest of your body, the techno-organic virus could reproduce you off of this one cell. Damn. Right? So when it takes over you, it either completely consumes you or it does not. If it does not, you become a phalanx, right? Got it. And so what they do is, when they take over you, you look like flesh and a mechanical system at the same time. So if it took over a snake, you'll look like a snake, but you'll look like a technical circuitries snake. Okay. And your job would be to go in whatever else you want to assimilate, you would assimilate. Because that's basically what they're doing.
This is called the Technovore?
No, this is called a techno-organic virus. Okay. And I'll tell you why it's relevant. So the whole goal is it gets deployed on this planet. It'll take over everything on the planet, right? And the whole purpose of it is to create an energy source. It then beacons the technocracy, and the technocracy shows up. These phalanx, because they have ships and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah. They show up and they come in and they basically eat the energy that this virus has now taken from you. Now, if it deems you worthy, then that you might have some kind of power or whatever resource, because when it takes over and the technocracy basically consumes your life force, and it looks like light. It's like they pull light from you. That's them eating your energy. Then they leave like a husk behind, like a brittle shell, if you want to think about it. If they deem you worthy, they will take over you. You become like this zombie phalanx, and then you become part of this hive. And I attribute it to like the Borg and Star Trek, but you've never seen it.
Nope.
It's basically a collective.
Okay.
And they can, and so whatever attribute you had becomes part of the collective. It's shared instantly amongst
like a
all
hive
of them.
Almost.
Yeah, exactly. So that's their purpose. They basically go around consuming everything. And part of this process is, and when the virus attacks you, it's painful. It's excruciating as it converts every one of your cells into a microorganism, basically.
So, I'm when you're saying this, it reminds me of X-Men '97.
Yeah.
Remember the baby?
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
I'm getting to that.
All right. I'm picking up what you're putting down, Adrian.
Yep. So, this virus. So basically, what's his name? Infected. Apocalypse.
Yep.
Apocalypse through Mr. Sinister. We don't know where they picked the technovirus up,
right.
but through Mr. Sinister infected Scott Summers and not the redhead, but the clone of her, Jean Grey.
Madeline,
right?
Yeah.
Madeline Summers, right?
Yep.
So
Madeline Pryor.
Madeline Pryor. So Cable is the son of Madeline Pryor and Scott Summers. Apocalypse infected Cable as a baby, right? That's
why I took him to the future.
Right. Not Cable. Bishop came back in time, picked him up, because the assumption was that they were going to take him into the future and slow the process or find a solution.
They bring him to Forge.
Huh?
They brought him to Forge, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So, because of who Cable is, he's the son of Madeline Pryor, which is a clone of Jean Grey, and Scott Summers. The only reason they never found a cure for him, the only reason that he was able to not be completely consumed by this techno-organic virus is his psychic powers. Yeah. Right. So his psychic. So every day, he has to fight off this virus from taking over his body. So that's what he's been doing that every second of every day, his entire life. Now, here's the rub. If the virus, it's like they have a symbiotic, literally, relationship. Because if the virus, if he didn't have those psychic powers, if the virus wasn't a part of him, his psychic powers would have taken over, because he has a clone brother, right, who is not infected with the virus, and ultimately his psychic powers that he inherited from his mother, Scott Summers and Jean Grey, they cloned him into this baby without the technovirus. His psychic powers actually overwhelmed him and just killed him.
Yeah. So
this technovirus, even though it can take over his complete body, his psychic powers prevent the virus from doing so. But if the virus wasn't there, he would eventually die anyway, because his own powers would consume him.
Got it.
That's the crazy shit. Then Cable, through time travel, went back because remember, Apocalypse gave him this as a baby. So later on, Cable went through time, found Apocalypse, and then infected Apocalypse with the virus. So now Apocalypse, because he's the mutant that he is, he's carrying this virus around with him. So there's only a few carriers. Apocalypse, Cable pretty much infected everybody else, right?
Yep.
This character called Post through a blood transfusion. Metis, who's a childhood friend of Cable, he eventually died. The Red Hulk, but the Red Hulk, because he has this power, this heat, he burnt the virus out.
Got it.
So There was only like a few carriers even in this thing, but the whole goal, it's like this whole system. Titans create these giant cybernetic aliens. These aliens form this technocracy that creates this phalanx system, phalanx zombies that then create this virus. And the whole point is to go out, find worlds, kind of like Galactus. The Heralds being this techno-virus, right? They would go out, find a world that they can consume. Once they consume the world, they create this beacon. The technocracy shows up and then either eats the life or assimilates them into their own hive, and then they go and they take over other worlds and stuff. So it's just so fascinating that you have this whole system of things, and I love how in the comics, you really have to have an imagination to be able to think, okay, these entities that are eons old, they're going to create these giant alien races. This giant alien race is their job is to assimilate everything, take over everything. But they're not going to do it themselves. They're going to create something that creates something that goes out, right? It's like the ultimate Galactus thing. I don't have the power. I don't want to do it. I'm just sit here, drink my my cup, my Mai Tais, my martinis, until I get a little beep on my watch that says, okay, my little minions have taken over this world. Let's go over here and feed now.
Yes.
And that's what they do.
They found me dinner.
11,000 worlds they've taken over by this process, dude. Shit. So it's pretty badass. Yeah. But and this is why I say get into teams if you don't know who you want to get into, because this was introduced through the X-Men.
That's where you first.
That's why I first saw heard about this virus, right?
Got it.
And it showed up as like I think one of them almost became like an X-Man itself. But it's a huge dynamic. But it just introduces you. Just that one storyline introduced you to just so much stuff. Right. So you got the X-Men, this virus shows up, and then you have these layers and layers and layers of stuff that takes you down these bunny trails. And you just learn so much. And your mind just has to expand just to be able to even follow half of this shit, right? So pretty cool. Techno-organic virus. Not to be confused with technovirus, which is a Iron Man derivative thing. Now, there are also different technoviruses, which I'm not going to get into. There's the Apocalypse one, and then there's some other one that's not as aggressive as the techno-organic. Okay. But that's it.
Cool. Well, that was a great hidden gem, Adrian. We're going to we're going to do something a little different this week. We're going to end with verses, and we're going to do agree to disagree on other stuff.
Okay.
Because sometimes we talk about other stuff on Agree to Disagree. We talked about cereal last week. Okay. So we're doing it for this 1 week only and for sake of time. So our versus this week was a fan suggestion. It was Blade versus Deathstroke. I think both you and I kind of lean towards Blade without doing any digging into this.
Right.
But I got our buddy here, ChatGPT, Adrian. He came through in the clutch again since I'm paying him $24 a month. So you guys aren't the only ones signing up for subscriptions. So this is what it had to say about Blade and Deathstroke. So Blade, Eric Brooks, right? Born half human, half vampire. His mother was bitten while she was pregnant. Grew up hunting vampires. He had a mentor, Jamal Afari. And then in some adaptions, it was the Whistler, right? His powers, enhanced strength, speed, reflexes, and healing. He has immunity to sunlight. Okay.
Daywalker.
He's a daywalker. His weaknesses, he still has some vampiric thirst and can be overrun by bloodlust if not careful.
Correct.
And often works alone, lacking backup. Okay. I don't know if I'd call that a weakness.
No.
Deathstroke, Slade Wilson. He's an elite soldier subjected to experimental serum, boosting him beyond peak human limits. So almost like some, Captain America serum a little bit, right? Now, I don't think he's as powerful as Cap. I don't know
I would put him on the same
Would he be on the same? Yeah. Okay.
Because Cap, people think that he has super strength. They say they got him, let's say, bench pressing 800 pounds, which is well above, most people. So I guess you can call that superhuman strength, but not
really in the lower tier. Though.
Right. Yeah. It's not like a Namor or a Ben Graham or
it ain't even like Spider-Man, right?
No, not even Spider-Man.
Yeah. So that's kind of where Deathstroke lies, right? Enhanced compared to most humans, but from a meta-human superhero standpoint, you ain't going hand strength versus a lot of these guys. So powers, enhanced strength, agility, reflexes, regenerative healing. So he's got some healing abilities, and heightened intellect for strategy. Weaknesses: arrogance, and his single eye can be exploited by skilled opponents. So he's got blind in one eye.
Yeah.
If caught off guard or outsmarted. So, and bullet point breakdowns here. Weapon and skill. Blade's a master of bladed weapons, hence the name Blade. He's got a katana, right? He's big on guns, too. Deathstroke's an all-around combat specialist with military-grade gear. So Deathstroke has some, like, armor, gear that Blade doesn't have.
Right.
Physical advantages: Blade, vampiric strength, and speed. Blade's stronger than Deathstroke. Is that fair?
Yeah, he's a vampire. So vampires are typically right below like a Spider-Man.
Okay.
Or depending on how old they are.
Oh, the older they are, the stronger.
Exactly.
Got it.
Like Dracula would be right there with Spider-Man.
Okay. Deathstroke's enhanced soldier physiology, both above human norms. Okay. Healing factors: they both can recover from injuries quickly, so fights could drag on if they don't, go for lethal blows.
Right.
Tactics versus instinct. Deathstroke's a calculated strategist. Blade relies on street smarts and relentless hunting skills. So ChatGPT says the outcome could go either way. If Deathstroke preps well and keeps distance, he might overpower Blade. If Blade closes in and plays to his vampire speed, Slade's at serious risk. Dude, after hearing all this, I'm going to stand on Blade.
Absolutely, because we're not talking prep time.
Correct.
We're talking street corner.
Yep.
Right? So, and a vampire, right, can move beyond human perception.
Right.
The speed is so fast you can't even see him move. So that's well beyond the elite Olympian.
Right.
Right. So yeah, he's got great balance and he can do this. And Deathstroke is a badass. Deathstroke and Taskmaster, they're pretty much the same people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If you say Taskmaster versus Deathstroke, they'd be fighting all day because they're the same person. It's like Superman and Sentry. That's an all-day fight, right? Yep. But I definitely think Blade has many advantages over Deathstroke because also, right, Deathstroke's most of his enemies are basic people.
Right.
He's a military guy, basic people. Blade's enemies are other vampires that can move like he does, has his strengths, things like that. So the experience, you can't really compare the experiences.
Right. So. Absolutely. Well, that's versus. What do we got next week? So we got two to choose from here, Adrian. We got Nightcrawler versus Quicksilver or Daredevil versus Winter Soldier for next week. I think, in the season of Daredevil launching in a few weeks, you're kind of, going through a rewatch. I'm finishing my rewatch. Why don't we do Daredevil versus Winter Soldier?
All right.
And I'm not right now. I honestly have no idea, so I'm gonna wait till we dig into this. I think it'd be a hell of a fight. I mean, they're both trained, right? I mean, Daredevil doesn't have any super strength. Winter Soldier has the same serum Cap has, right? He's got the arm
plus the arm,
but Daredevil's got these instincts, this sonar that really helps him go toe to toe with people that may overpower him, right? Almost like, and he's an expert in a lot of martial arts,
right?
Maybe not as much as someone like Batman, but pretty damn close.
Yep.
So, we'll dig into that next week. So that's the show this week. What's next? Well, in 2 days, you guys are some of you will experience other stuff. So if you've not checked that out yet, you can join that. You can join the Legion of Interns, and you'll get an extra podcast every week where we talk about a little bit of comics and a lot of other stuff.
Right.
I can tell you we're gonna dig into vibranium versus adamantium on that. And we're also gonna have a We Respond over there. So if you like this show, subscribe, share this with your friends. If you like this enough, then subscribe to other stuff. And if you don't, well, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here then. If you don't like, if you don't like us, why are you watching it? It'd be kind of weird, right? Like if you went to a restaurant and you didn't like the food there, would you continue to go back over and over again? No.
Well, I mean, it depends on the scenery.
Okay, maybe once or twice. But if every dish was just like, oh, this sucks and that sucks, eventually you probably would not come back around. So, But Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.
Another great hidden gem. Dude, you've been shocking us with these hidden gems lately. Dude.
Hey, there's a lot of stuff out there, man. Yep. There's a lot of stuff. And like you said, I like that universal thing, that mind expanding stuff. Yeah.
Yep, cool. Well, and then you'll probably be excited for what's to come with Marvel with the Secret Wars and being able, because we've not seen true cosmic level things on screen yet, in the MCU at least. Right. We've seen them in comics, and I think they've showed us a little bit that I think they're figuring out how to portray that on there, even just little glimpse of like how giant Galactus is in the Fantastic Four trailer and whatnot. So, well, there you have it. That's the show this week. Thanks you guys for coming out. Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely, man.
Rocking the Cap gear. Guys, go check out Captain America Brave New World. I actually really enjoyed the film. I think you will too if you're not a little, if you're not on that tomato juice, So anyways, you know where to find us every week right here on Only Comics. We'll see you next week.